free. Just text KHTK to 41284. That's KHTK to 41284 for your chance to win. Quick Quack Car Wash, where you can wash your car all you want with an unlimited membership and enjoy fast service in under 3 minutes.
KHTK-AM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Lott with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings now have a 2-game-to-none lead after a 114-106 win over the Warriors last night. Kings and Warriors will have 2 days off and will be back in action in San Francisco for Game 3 on Thursday. You can listen to that game and every Kings playoff game right here on Sactown Sports. Buffalo Bills general manager Brandon Beane announced today that safety Damar Hamlin has been fully cleared to return to football. Hamlin had a specialist with him while participating at volunteer workouts with the Bills this week. Hamlin has not played a game since he suffered a cardiac arrest against the Cincinnati Bengals on January 2nd. Those are your headlines. Now let's get started with the show with Chris and company with Whitey and Watkins.
Yeah, first things first here. We're going to be talking about it all day. We'll be talking about it for days and days. Maybe we'll get some news at some point today on the status of Draymond Green, Kevin Michael, Whitey Gleason, Chris Watkins. I just don't see any way, Chris, that the league is going to suspend Draymond Green. I'm not saying they should. I'm not saying they shouldn't. I just don't think there's any way they do.
Yeah, I felt a very similar way just in terms of the fact that, you know, we've already kind of been through this specifically with Draymond Green, right? Like, this moment reminds me so much of when he was suspended in the NBA Finals for, you know, hitting LeBron James and in the nether regions, and he got suspended for a game, and that led to the Warriors losing their 3-1 series lead, and a lot has been made ever since of that moment directly kind of being the shifting point where Golden State lost, and then the narrative got built of, well, if the league didn't get involved, would the Warriors have won that championship? I don't know if the league wants those problems again. I know that it was we are going to talk about this all day long, but I know it wasn't a good look, and I know that there's tons of other things that are going to go into this decision, but I have a tough time believing that the league is going to want to get too involved in this, and especially if it could potentially cost Golden State a game, and, you know, if the Kings go up 3-1, I think that it's, unfortunately, Sacramento Kings fans have been in this position before. It's in the league's best interest for this series to be extended a little bit longer. And Draymond Green missing games is only going to hurt the Warriors' chances. So I am right there with you. I wish I didn't feel that way, but I do have a sinking feeling that the NBA just doesn't want to get involved with the on-the-court product in this series. Do you feel that you clearly feel the same way?
If they want to get involved at all, it would be kind of a passive-aggressive way of doing what they can or not doing what they could to make it less likely that the Warriors win.
Yeah.
It's
almost unfortunate, too, that they can't. I was thinking, could they do – I remember – now, this was a team-sanctioned punishment, but I remember Jameis Winston got suspended for like a half. It almost feels like Draymond Green should probably get suspended for a half. Like, I don't know if that would probably be the most even, fair judgment of it all, but that's just not how it works. And I do feel like, just like I said, I just think the NBA is not going to want to get involved in this series. They're not going to want people to question, did they just bury the Warriors themselves? I think the league wants to step away from all that conversation and just let the on-the-floor product speak for itself.
It'll be interesting to see what they do, how they do it, but I wouldn't hold my breath about Draymond getting suspended. As far as the game, how can this be? All right, the Kings are up 2-0, a surprise, but yeah, they're up 2-0. They had a great year, but how are they winning, Chris Watkins, with defense? What is that about?
Whitey, that is, to me, the biggest revelation of this entire playoffs is we're not talking about a team that showed flashes for good points of this year. We're not talking about a team that was average defensively and is now we're talking about a team that was entering this postseason the worst defensive rating of any team in the playoffs and the play-in. They were up there with the Detroits, the Dallases, all the teams that are in the lottery right now. That's where the Sacramento Kings defense was sitting. And the defense that we have seen, at least in this first two games, is a complete 180 of that. I mean, I haven't seen this level of defensive intensity for as long as I can remember. I've never seen this squad play it. I don't think I've seen this level of defense in Sacramento maybe in my lifetime. I was young when those maybe they had a certain level of defensive physicality, but I have not. The Warriors keep talking about how they can flip a switch and, they think they can go to another level. The Sacramento Kings more than flipped a switch on the defensive end. It's just, I cannot believe the level of defensive intensity. And you're completely right in saying they've won these games with their defensive intensity. If that defensive intensity isn't there, I mean, they're already having a tough time with this Warriors team. I mean, I think it's 2-0 Golden State easy if the Kings don't show this same level of defense.
Already we know that the Kings have more of a home court advantage than many thought they would. I know some people looked at the Warriors road record and said they're not a good road team. So not everyone is surprised, but I think, I know I'll speak for myself. I'm surprised that the last two games, they come down to crunch time and a close game. And obviously the Kings have excelled. De'Aaron Fox has excelled in crunch time. But when it comes to gritty playoff winning time games, the Kings are not, they're not blinking. And the Warriors are buckling a little bit in situations that are supposed to favor the defending champ.
Right. I mean, this is the thing that I think the Warriors were severely underestimating and underrating the Sacramento Kings team, because this is who the Kings have been all season long. You mentioned the clutch numbers and just the offensive relentlessness. That's who the Kings have been. The number one offensive rated team in the NBA, most points per 100 possessions. And that includes the clutch as well. I mean, in the clutch, they have the best offensive rating in the final 5 minutes in tight games of anybody else in the NBA. This is what this team does. They are incredibly efficient. They just continue to score. And a lot of times this season, I've said it, and their best defense has been the fact that their offense has been so incredible that you just can't keep up scoring with them. And if anyone were to be able to do it, it would be this Golden State Warrior team. But I think that they're realizing they might not be the guys that they used to be.
We're here for you at 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Also, of course, on the YouTube chat. Thanks for being with us today. It's Chris and company. He's Chris Watkins. I'm Whitey Gleason. Let's talk to Mike joining us here on Sactown Sports. What'd you think of the game last night, Mike? It's incredible. Guys. Hello.
On top of Draymond Green pulling his shenanigans, he did it right in front of the commissioner.
Right in front of him.
And what would be really cool is if this is already the I-80 battle between the Warriors, if it turned into the I-5 battle after finishing the Warriors down to the Clippers or the Lakers.
Could be, Mike. Thank you. Yeah, the commissioner was there, but I don't know if he was really watching. Does he like basketball now? Of course he does. I'm kidding.
There are some whispers.
I'm kidding.
I do remember.
Kidding.
Yeah. It's it'll be interesting.
Fine commissioner.
The fact he's had some questionable things as of recently, but he's Adam for the most part has done a pretty good job. It is a pleasure to have the commissioner in town, but I do wonder if maybe that does have a little bit effect on things. I know Joe Dumars is the one who's going to make the actual decision. Draymond's buddy. We also know he spent some time here in Sacramento, and that departure was a little unceremonious. Look into that if you don't already know. But so it'll be, it's not Adam Silver's call. I'm sure Adam Silver will have some form of say. I'm sure he'll be in the meeting. Right. As the commissioner, I'm sure he'll be able to give his input on the situation. But I don't know if that'll end up happening. Maybe in the fact of if he would have just seen it on TV, I'm sure they have access to every camera angle possible and they'll look at it. But, being there in the building, maybe not necessarily the stomp, maybe the antics after would be something that Adam Silver
inciting the crowd,
and it did get a little hostile. I know I saw a mini ball thrown into the Warriors scrum in the aftermath of that. Nothing crazy, but Draymond was definitely egging on the crowd, and maybe Silver finds exception with that, but I don't necessarily know if Adam Silver being in the building will have too much effect on that decision in particular.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Is that what we should even be talking about today after that Kings win?
Yeah. We're talking about a Kings win. Kings are up 2-0 right now, and we have to talk about the Draymond stomp. Is that correct?
Let's see what Ken has on his mind. Ken, you're with us on Sactown Sports, SactownSports.com. How are you?
Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate that very much. Yeah. What's on
Well,
your
listen.
What's on your mind?
I think that right now, everybody's spending too much time talking about Draymond and the incident and not talking about what has happened over the last 2 games.
Come on now.
What has been clear, even during the regular season, was the fact that the Warriors cannot guard the Kings. So even when the Kings lost to them early and they were just finding their legs, they played the Warriors well. They're not afraid of this team, and I think the talk is taken away from the fact that the Kings right now have been the better team, and I'm looking forward to the Kings going on the road because one of the things that's not talked about enough is the fact that this team is 25-16 on the road. They're not going to be afraid to go on the road, and I think more than anything else, they match up with the Warriors real well, and I think that's what's bearing out right now.
Thank you, Ken.
Yeah.
Great to hear from you. Appreciate your thoughts. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. And there's so much to unpack after that game last night. I do know this, that after Draymond left or was excused from the contest, the Warriors came back, tied the game, and then the Kings just found a way to get it done. And after Draymond was out, you had a 7-minute delay, and then the final 7 minutes, Sacramento's offensive rating was 153.
Woo!
153.
That sounds pretty good, right?
That's
pretty
It's
decent.
exceptional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty decent, and that's huge too because I mean, after a long, the Kings were kind of getting a little bit of momentum in that fourth quarter, and then the game completely comes to a complete halt. I mean, it was probably the timeouts are already long enough, by the way. I mean, I know we don't get a lot of national TV games here in Sacramento, but I've definitely noticed just the longer absence and timeouts is. It's definitely noticeable. But then the review process for that stomp was about 5 to 8 minutes.
I think it was
maybe.
about a 7-minute delay.
It took a while for them to get back into action, and it was so good to see De'Aaron Fox just right after that happens, comes out, hits a jumper and hits a shot near the rim, and it was all Fox pretty much down the stretch there until Davion hit that corner, but. It was good to see the Sacramento Kings. That's another example too where that could be. Golden State, we talk a lot about their experience. That's where their experience should come into play, right? Is after a long delay in these games, ideally the team who hasn't been there before should kind of be like, well, that was weird. We've never been through that before. And, that should throw them off a little, you would expect. And again, just another example of maybe the Warriors just aren't quite able to pull from that championship DNA like they thought they would be able to.
Yeah, it's fair to say, I think it's accurate to say the Kings are out Draymonding Draymond right now. At least they did last night.
Right? I mean, Draymond's whole thing is to get into people's heads, and I don't know, it looked to me like the Kings were the more calm and collected of the group, and Draymond yesterday was just on one. It did feel like he was screaming in Sabonis's face the entire game, and then obviously to have what happened, it felt like Draymond was definitely coming in with a certain energy yesterday.
Who lost their composure last night?
I
think Draymond Green lost his
Draymond
composure.
Green, actually. It was only Draymond Green. I didn't really see anybody else stomp on it.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Again, I don't think anybody should hold their breath waiting for the league to suspend Draymond Green. We'll get into that. But is that even really what we should be talking about today? We're back in 90 seconds with more. It's Chris and Company, Watkins and Whitey, Sactown Sports.
It's Cattles and Rami.
Dave, can you please delete some of your emails? Because when I come in and I go to Gmail, when you have 2,753 emails in your inbox.
I legitimately don't understand how people do that. I can't. What kind of animal? Like,
I told you. I told you exactly what kind of animal.
Cattles and Rami. Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6 on Sactown Sports.
Great team, great team. Where's the defense? Defense! Okay, everyone take a break. Greetings, Sacramento. Doug Christie here for the Good Feet store, asking when is something too good to be true? When it probably is. And had I not experienced it for myself, this spectacular season would definitely qualify as too good to be true. So everyone out there in radio land, continue to enjoy. Something else that could seem too good to be true is Good Feet Arch Supports. But trust me, I've experienced firsthand the comfort, balance, and support possible with Good Feet Arch Supports. And so have countless others who have pretty much given up hope. It's time you felt good again. Take your feet to the Good Feet store for a free personalized arch support fitting and test walk. Experience for yourself the comfort, balance, and support missing in your life. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and now Vacaville, online at goodfeet.com.
Live and local, it's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Long ways to go in this series. A lot of pizza left in the box, but the Kings, it's easy to say, well, they held serve. They more than held serve, because you can see the doubt in the eyes of the Warriors. And I think one of the things that the Warriors are struggling with is, how are they beating us at our own game, including last night? How did the Kings out Draymond and the Warriors during that controversial sequence involving the stomp? Here's what Draymond had to say about it after the game.
Referees just watch it. I got to land my foot somewhere. And I'm not the most flexible person, so it's not stretching that far.
So you didn't really see where you were stepping. You just kind of.
I can only step so far. I'm pulling my leg away. So it is what it is.
What was the explanation they gave? I know they gave him a technical, then obviously you flagrant too.
The explanation was I stumped too hard.
You said 2 times you've been held with Sabonis, both times.
No, it was Monk last game, right on the baseline under the rim. So either you're going to stop it. John Goble was looking at Monk hold my leg the last game, and he just let it go. And Zach clearly was watching my leg get held this game and let it go. So I guess ankle grabbing is okay.
I understand his frustration, but ankle grabbing is not okay. Sabonis was assessed a flagrant one.
Yes.
Yeah. So clearly they didn't pretend that nothing happened there.
Yeah, Draymond clearly was never told by his parents when he was a kid that 2 wrongs don't make a right. Because I mean, he can make the argument. I will defend Draymond Green in this sense of, yes, I completely agree that Domantas Sabonis pulling his ankle was completely uncalled for. I think that's
Let's
also.
be honest, that's a dirty play.
It's a dirty play, and I think I had that thought yesterday, especially rewatching the game. I was like, Sabonis isn't dirty, but he's really, really, really physical. And of course that can sometimes, you can blur the line with that a lot of the times. I would say pulling his ankle was dirty. He clearly was on the floor. And if you watch the replay, he's on the floor. He pretty much just squeezes Draymond's ankle in his arms. And I mean, he was clearly trying to pull Draymond Green down, or at least not allow him to move. And
it's the NBA playoffs. It's not the church league.
Not the church league.
Although I played in church league in Vallejo, and it was pretty pretty physical.
The only church league I've ever been in, they played on carpet, and so I do not have positive. Anyways, it was
going to a church school. I've played on everything but a wood floor.
Everything but a wood floor. And even those wood floors that you do play on, you can like feel every bounce in the entire gym.
I coached in a PAL girls basketball. And they had this facility where I forget the name of the school. I don't want to say it if I did. Part of the altar in this facility was on the court. It was like it was too small, and it was like an inflatable dome, and they had an altar in there because they'd have services in there, and they had the court, but it wasn't big enough. So part of the altar was actually on the court.
Oh, okay. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. That's like a whole nother level of That's an obstacle right there. You got to dribble around it, or is it?
It just kind of stuck out on one end. One sideline was
one sideline's a little bit more pushed out. It's kind of okay.
Yeah,
it's just like a what ballpark.
We're gonna trap them. We're gonna trap them by the altar.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not as much room over there. Yeah.
What were we talking about?
Draymond,
of course. Sabonis being dirty. Yes. It was a dirty play. I just think that I do agree with Draymond in the sense of there was no reason for Sabonis to do that. But Draymond Green is lying to everybody when he says, what am I supposed to do? I'm not that flexible. Where am I supposed to put my foot?
That sounded like the company line last night, huh? He has to put his foot
he has
somewhere.
To put his foot down. So I think Clay said it. Draymond said it. I know Steph said it. I'm not sure what Steve Kerr had to say specifically about where Draymond's foot placement should be.
I think Kerr said basically, I didn't see it. Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of truth.
He said he didn't see it, and he didn't see the replay.
Didn't see it. Didn't see. I was We're getting ready.
Easy
One of
deniability.
my coaches told me he could get thrown out, so I was trying to figure out what we were going to do.
That feels like a cop out to me. Something tells me that Steve Kerr saw it. He was pretty disgusted, not probably by the action, but just by the fact that Draymond did it. And he was like, I just don't want to talk about it. I just think Draymond, to me, the answer, Draymond, if you're looking for where you put your foot, just fall. I think if Draymond falls, they're going to look at the replay. If Draymond puts up a hissy fit about it, they'll look at it and they'll see that Sabonis did it and he was correctly assessed a technical foul. The game moves on. Draymond is not the heel. He's actually kind of a hero for now we're talking about how Draymond is in Sabonis's head. Clearly now he's getting Sabonis to act a little bit out of character and to do these things that are potentially hurting his team in an important moment.
That's the poetic justice of it. It is that Sabonis basically outsmotsmarted Draymond.
He pretty much
his own game.
And that's been the problem with Draymond is he lets his emotions get too much, get in his own way. And you just can't have that. I mean, it regardless of what set up Draymond's stomp, that was not an equal reaction. It was
not a justifiable stomp.
Yeah, it was not at all. And it's ridiculous to me that he doesn't see how that is not acceptable. Like it was just not okay. Like ever you can't watch that and think, yeah, that's a totally fine, normal reaction to have. And we kind of dealt with this with Trey Lyles earlier in the season when he got into that scuffle with the Milwaukee Bucks, where it was, yeah, Giannis kind of did instigate it when you really look at it. He cut across from him and he didn't need to, and he clearly was trying to get a reaction out of him. But that doesn't mean you should choke somebody out and get into a huge fight about it. It just means sometimes you just need to be the bigger man and let the situation play out. I don't know. I just didn't feel like it needed to be like that at all.
I still don't think he'll be suspended. Tell you why in just a moment here. But first, back to the phones, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Let's talk to Daniel. He's been on hold. Daniel, thanks for hanging. You're on with Whitey and Watkins. What's up?
Hey, guys.
Hey.
What up?
Only other player I remember doing this was Indomitian Sue.
Yes.
He got suspended.
Yes.
However, you're right. He's not going to get suspended because Adam Silver's weak. He's not David Stern, and he's not going to put his foot down because that's just not what he does. So
pun intended there? Was that pun intended?
No. No, it actually wasn't.
It was a good one. It was a good one. I liked it.
All right. No, I think you guys are right. I don't think anything's going to happen to him.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that. How about Greg joining us here on the Watkins and
okay.
Whitey? Greg? No?
Greg?
Hey, gentlemen.
Hey,
hello, Greg.
What up?
Hey, that was epic being at that game last night. I just wanted to say you could feel in the stadium the Warriors in their nervousness. Draymond did that because he knew they were losing it. And the reality is, if that happened and we didn't catch it, Sabonis probably would have ended up coming at him, and that's where we would have got snapped. And I just want to shout out to Coach Brown and Monty putting this group together and getting them to play as hard as they are because, man, it's epic. The defense helped us in the beginning of that game. The defense helped us finish the game, and the offense showed up.
What a concept. What a concept.
Thanks, Greg. Yeah. What was the atmosphere out there last night compared to game one?
It's so hard to compare it to game one. I talked to a couple different people about it, and I think we all agree that game one is just going to forever live in its own category of thing. You just can't match
the first game after all those 16 years. Yeah,
exactly. The emotions, everything that goes into it. But just in terms of a loud perspective, it was just as loud as game one for sure. The energy was close. Obviously, it just can't reach that level. They weren't cheering as the guys came in, but once that game started, once the ball was tipped, it was an electric atmosphere. The Kings fans did what Kings fans do, and they were so loud the entire game and so involved. It was again like another. If game one was 97% Kings fans, maybe this one was 95. There was definitely more Warrior fans there, but still, just completely drowned out by Kings fans. Usually, when Warriors hit a shot, you can still hear a little bit of cheers and stuff like that, but you were hearing none of it the other day.
Thanks for all the calls and all the feedback. We'll get to as many as we can. We really do appreciate it.
Yes.
Here's why I don't think, and I think Chris is with me, I don't think Draymond's going to get suspended. Nick Friedel, we know Nick Friedel,
Yeah.
ESPN, right?
Yep.
He used to cover the Warriors,
Yes, he did.
and I got to know Nick Friedel, and he was telling us one time that years ago he was at an ESPN like preseason seminar. So this might have been probably around 2019, 2018, maybe something like that. And they had a list for all the people who cover ESPN. And they said, just so you guys know, at the top of the list, this is what people care about. 1, LeBron James, all right? That's just when you're writing stuff, you got to know this is what people care about. 2, there's a big gap. And 2, Steph Curry. This is what people care about when they want to read about, hear about the NBA. 3, huge gap, everything else. So, so my point is, and right now, obviously LeBron and the Lakers, that's why they're always on. ESPN wants the Warriors on TV as much as possible.
Yeah.
The NBA, and I'm not saying that they're going to go out of their way to fix games, anything like that, but no, they would
never do that, right?
They would I really, honestly, I'm not suggesting that in this case,
No.
but they would prefer that the Warriors play more games at the very least.
Yeah.
And they would prefer that the Warriors win. So all things considered, the fact that it'd be easily justified, well, Green, I was wrong, but Sabonis did grab him. I'll be stunned if they suspended him. I think there's grounds for it, but I don't think they're going anywhere near that.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what's funny too is the guy who is at the top of that list is a potential opponent of number 2 on that list if this series does extend out, and so they can play out that narrative as long as they want. I think we'll definitely talk about it, but I'm kind of on the fence of whether or not I think he actually will get suspended. I feel like his actions do justify it, but whether or not I feel the league is actually going to do it or not, I think I'm still torn on.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Help Chris Watkins off
Please,
that fence.
Please
help him on one side or the other. It's not
We'll
comfortable up
decide
there.
by the end of the day.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, I will officially come to a decision on whether or not I believe the NBA will suspend Draymond.
As for the fact that the Kings are up 2-0, I'll tell you what, they have mastered the old no Curry flurry. Tell you what that is next. It's the Chris and company with Watkins and Whitey, Sactown Sports, SactownSports.com.
The Sacramento Kings have taken a commanding 2-0 lead over the Golden State Warriors.
They end up winning it by 8.
Can the best road team in the West go into Chase Center Thursday night and get a win in Game 3 over the defending champs? Our coverage begins with Cattles and Rami live from the Golden One Center at 2 p.m. with tip-off at 7 from San Francisco. On your home for the Kings, Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports first round coverage is brought to you by National Garage Door. Doors fit for a king.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by RC Willey Home Furnishings.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. We're looking at a partly cloudy day today for this Tuesday, with temperatures a bit cooler than yesterday. Highs will only top out in the low 60s, and those overnight lows tonight will drop off into the upper 30s to low 40s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
New flooring instantly updates a room. RC Willey has an incredible selection of carpet, hardwood, tile, and laminate. Their experts will help you find the perfect floor for your home and schedule a free in-home measure. Shop RC Willey in Elk Grove or Rockland today. Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Carmichael Dave here, welcoming back my dear friends at Fire Wings. 21 different flavors. I had 4 of those 21 Saturday for the game, watching with the family. As always, breaded Malaysian curry. Yeah, you better bet I got that curry. Knocked it out of the park, too. Go to firewings.com to make your order. That's what we did. We ordered 2 hours in advance, picked it up. There's nothing better for the game than Fire Wings. Check out the locations nearest you. Fire Wings, just wing it.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop. The threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network. One intriguing player to watch this year would be A's rookie center fielder Esteury Ruiz. Now, he's gotten off to a good start. He reached base safely in 9 of the first 10 games, and he can really impact the game on the bases. In fact, Mark Kotsay calls him the most exciting base stealer the A's have had since Ricky Henderson. Well, last year in the minor leagues, Ruiz stole 85 bases.
You can't host movie night on your phone's hotspot. It's time for real home internet on the Xfinity 10G network. The future starts now. New customers can get 200 megabit Xfinity internet for just $25 a month for 2 years during our Xfinity 10G network launch celebration, now through April 23rd. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Laud with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings now have a 2-0 lead after a 114-106 win over the Warriors last night. Kings and Warriors will have 2 days off and will be back in action in San Francisco for Game 3 on Thursday. You can listen to that game and every Kings playoff game right here on Sactown Sports. Buffalo Bills general manager Brandon Beane announced today that safety DeMar Hamlin has been fully cleared to return to football. Hamlin has had a specialist with him while participating at volunteer workouts with the Bills this week. Hamlin has not played a game since he suffered a cardiac arrest against the Cincinnati Bengals on January 2nd. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to Chris and company with Whitey and Watkins.
Great win for the Kings, up 2-0 over the Warriors, but that first quarter,
not ideal.
Were you concerned at all with the way the Kings came out of the gate last night?
Yeah, I mean, this is now the second straight game in this series that the Kings, specifically the starters, they can't hit a perimeter jumper. I don't know what it is. It's maybe, again, game one, I blamed it on the energy and just the nerves, the anxiousness, the adrenaline going through your body with those pregame intros and just how the crowd was in game one. It was crazy electric. Maybe they were just too amped up. I don't know what the excuse is for game two. Again, the crowd was great. Energy was great. But you've been there before. You were just there on Saturday. You just dealt with that energy. You would think that they would maybe be able to come out and hit some shots. But, I mean, they could not fall yesterday. I think the Kings missed their first 10 3-point attempts. And, the starters just it's crazy to me that the Kings are still – it's really positive, but it's crazy that they're getting these results while just not shooting well at all as a team, but specifically the starters just not getting much of anything out of those guys.
By the way, first round playoff coverage on Sactown Sports brought to you by National Garage Door. National Garage Door, quality doors, quality people. That first quarter, as you know, 18 combined turnovers.
Yeesh.
Most in, a first quarter in more than 6 seasons, most in a playoff game since at least 2001, 2002. I think a lot of that was such a brutal physical game.
Yeah.
There was some nerves, obviously. There was a kind of a feeling out process. But if I'm the Warriors, I'm thinking, my goodness, we held them to 17 and we were still only up 6.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely been the most noticeable thing for me for Golden State is just, Whitey, they just look sloppy. They just look like they really don't care to hold possession. Like they don't value possessions, which is so strange because as a team who's been in the postseason as many times as they have, as deep as they have been, you would think that they would understand the most basic postseason principle of you have to take possession of the ball and make every single possession matter. They're just so free with it that, I know Steve Kerr always likes to say he likes his guys to feel loose and feel like they have the freedom to do whatever they want. But you have to think at some point, like you have to just instill in your guys a certain level of discipline. Like that kind of freedom and respect has to kind of be earned. And I'm not sure that this specific squad of guys has earned the freedom to play that the way they are, because they're keeping the Kings in these games, to your point, with their turnovers. It's just, it looks sloppy, and it feels like, when the Kings shoot 30% in a quarter, Golden State should be able to get a double-digit lead at least from that. And so it's got to be concerning from the Warriors side that they can't really seem to pull away from Sacramento. I think their biggest lead in this series has been those 2 10-point leads that they had in the third quarter, and just never really been able to get anything past that.
The Kings played great defense last night, and so that obviously had a lot to do with some of the turnovers. Steve Kerr said that the Warriors didn't handle the pressure that the Kings were putting on the basketball. Warriors didn't handle that very well. That said, I mean, look at these 2 turnovers. End of the first quarter, you had Herter trying to inbound it, I think, to Fox, and Wiggins was contesting. Still, terrible turnover. But my point is, well, there was a defender there, and he made a play. But the Warriors commit so many turnovers where, like, Jordan Poole threw a hook pass last night.
Threw it to the fourth row.
Somebody on Twitter said that's the worst pass of the season.
It was so
bad. They
bad.
do those types of things all the time, taking nothing away from the defense. But when you got people just slinging the ball, these hook passes and blind passes out of bounds, I don't know how they can expect to win when they continue to do that.
Yeah, and Sacramento, to their credit, is capitalized. I know Golden State has had a lot of unforced turnovers where, like you're saying, they're just throwing the ball out of bounds. In that first quarter, I think they had 2 or 3 where Steph just or there was people
Steph
in the wrong spot.
He
does it all the time. But also credit the Kings defense, who Harrison Barnes, I think, has came out the past 2 games and really set the tone defensively from the jump. He's had multiple steals in the first quarter in both of these games so far. It feels like the Kings definitely know, and it's probably because Mike Brown is so it was so entrenched in this Warrior team. He knows. He definitely knows, like, hey, if you put the pressure on these guys, they're gonna try and they're gonna turn the ball over. They're really loose with it, and it feels like you're right. That Kings pressure is just really disrupting the Warriors and making them just throw the ball away. I mean, you're completely right. That Poole turnover was one of the strangest things I've seen. And when he did it, I was like, that you just can't have that. You cannot have that in late third quarter.
That would
your
get
guy
you benched in high school. Seriously, you do that in high school. Most high schools, you're sitting down.
Yes.
It's like, what are you doing? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, it was completely uncalled for, and it's just I don't know. You're right. I don't know how Golden State can hope to really compete in this series if they're just throwing the ball away.
They talk about it, and it doesn't get better. One thing the Kings have taken advantage of is the non-Curry minutes, which we'll get to in just a moment. First, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Let's talk to Ted. He joins us on Chris and Company. How are you, Ted? Thanks for hanging on.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
My voice is a little.
What happened?
I've been watching it with my boys who have been, they're fans, and they're older boys now. They're 21 and 27. And they're fair weather fans, but they do love the Kings, but they got so into the first 2 games. My voice just can't recover.
You weren't even at the arena, and his voice is gone.
This is like it was 96. We lost our voice before halftime because of that 15-minute standing ovation.
Yeah.
But all I wanted to say is I feel like the Warriors are getting a little desperate with the E40 thing, and now the stomp and saying he grabbed him. I don't know, Chris. I've watched the replay a few times. He did grab around his foot a little bit, but he was also going up to protect its face, and it kind of got hooked around his foot. And Sabonis isn't dirty. He may have pulled his foot, but I think he's going to get suspended for 1 game because that was a pretty hard stomp, and it was deliberate.
All right, Ted. Yeah, thank you. We appreciate that. We'll see. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be warranted. I'll just be surprised if they do it.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I do think the more that I replay it in my head, the and the caller who said the Ndamukong Suh stomp, that is pretty accurate in terms of just what it felt like. It did feel like, I don't know, Draymond did definitely lift his foot up to put some power on his chest. And so I could see it. I definitely can see it. If I were commissioner, I would probably suspend him. But again, you just have to think about all of the outside circumstances that go along with it, like we talked about earlier. The fact that you know the NBA just really doesn't want to get involved in potentially, you know, ruining the Warriors' chances of winning this series. And plus, you know, Draymond playing is just good for the series in general. It's good for viewership. It's good for eyes.
If this game was in December, he'd be suspended.
Right. 100%. No question. If honestly, I think if this is regular season, he might get suspended multiple games.
If you've watched the Warriors over the years, you know that Steph Curry goes on these runs that they call Curry flurries. We haven't really seen him in the series, but he's capable of that, where it's like, oh my goodness, he scored 18 points in 4 minutes, whatever.
Exactly.
The Kings have mastered the no Curry flurry in this series, and it's been huge. When Curry's off the floor, we saw it game 1. The Warriors were up 8, late third, 2-something left. He sits down. And the Kings take the lead going into the fourth quarter. Last night, they did play as we thought they would. Steve Kerr played Curry a few more minutes, 41 minutes. They were +3 were the Warriors when Curry was on the floor. When he was off the floor, the Kings were +11.
Yes, I also took note of, I think Frankie gave me this note, so shout out Frank. The Kings to start that second quarter, Curry was on the bench. 16-4 run to start that second quarter.
No Curry flurry.
No Curry flurry. That's exactly what it is. You know, they've completely taken advantage. It does feel like when Steph is on the floor, that's when they smell blood, and that's usually when they kind of get their runs, and that's when they get the lead, and that's exactly what's happened the first 2 games. Steph Curry can't play 48 minutes, Whitey. He's got to sit at some point. Is it possible for Steph to play more minutes? Are they going to raise it up to 42?
He looks tired.
Again,
he looks battered. And he got, as you pointed out earlier, he tweaked something last night himself.
Yeah, he definitely twisted his ankle. It was pretty early in the game. I want to say second quarter or so that he twisted his ankle. Obviously finished the game. Didn't seem to be in too much discomfort for the rest of the game. But I'm sure that thing is swollen today. I'm sure he feels it today. I just think the answer, and I said it yesterday, Golden State just has to play better without Steph. I don't think it's a matter of how many more minutes can we squeeze for Steph. Steph Curry needs rest. He's playing 41 minutes. We see how Steph Curry runs around the floor. He has to sit at some point. The Warriors just have to be better at surviving those minutes. It's really that cut and simple. They need depth, and whether or not that, you know, you obviously can't add to your depth at this point in the season, but they just need their bench guys to really step up.
Will Draymond Green be suspended? I doubt it. Chris is on the fence. What do you think? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Coming up, the Dubs are in a hole. They're also in denial. That's next. It's Chris and company. He's Watkins. I'm Waddy, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
I'm Scott Trout, attorney and CEO of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. We help men deal with the life changes triggered by divorce, such as child custody and property division, among many others. But life changes also occur after divorce. These changes can make parts of your existing court order irrelevant or harder to follow. If you feel a modification to your court orders might be necessary, talk to us at Cordell & Cordell. We're a partner men can count on.
500 Capitol Mall, Suite 2060, Sacramento, California, 95814. Cordell.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave telling you something you already know, which is your time is important. That's why at American Energy Heat and Air, they make shopping for a new furnace or air conditioner easier with their new online quoting tool. All you got to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote now, today. Do it right now. It'll help you determine what system you'll need to get and provide the best pricing options, all from the comforts of your home. You don't have to have somebody come out and walk around your house and blah, blah, blah. Just do the quoting tool. It's so easy. AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. I absolutely love these folks. 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com, making the uncomfortable comfortable.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Make your way to the ballpark on Sunday, April 30th to watch your A's go head-to-head with the Cincinnati Reds. Get there early to grab your very own Tony Kemp poster, presented by Kaiser Permanente. This one-of-a-kind poster giveaway features TK and his iconic catch.
Diving play to his right. Unbelievable catch by Tony Kemp. Spectacular.
Tickets start at just $10 and are available at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
Get to Acura of Stockton, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. And right now, lease a new Acura TLX, MDX, or Integra with low lease rates available. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
Hey, Scott, I haven't seen you in over a year, and you look great.
Good to see you, too. Yeah, I'm feeling good and have a new job.
No, there's something different about the way you look.
To be honest, a few months ago, I had an amazing robotic hair transplant procedure with Dr. Singh at Excel Medicine. It's called the artist procedure.
No way. Your hair looks completely natural, and you don't even have a scar. How did they do that?
Dude, the artist system is amazing. I have this fantastic hairline, and I'm happy with my results. He could probably help you, too, buddy.
Using the artist procedure, Dr. Singh can target and harvest healthy hair follicles with micron-level accuracy from the back of your head and transplant them where you need it. The procedure is painless, and you'll be back doing your regular activities in a couple of days. Ask Dr. Singh at Excel Medicine about the artist procedure. Call today, 916-932-4470. That's 932-4470 for a complimentary in-person or Zoom consultation, or on the web at excelmedicine.com. That's EXCEL medicine.com. See what the artist procedure can do for you.
These are doctors and not real patients.
Hey guys, if you have Peyronie's disease, West Coast Men's Health can help. Acoustic wave therapy can dissolve the knot that's causing the problem. No pill or cream will ever do that. And right now, we're offering a free treatment just for coming in. If you suffer from Peyronie's or ED, call West Coast Men's Health today.
With clinics in Sacramento and San Mateo, call 916-829-8273. That's 916-829-8273. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Hey, Sacramento, while you're watching the playoffs, don't get stuck on the bench in a warm house. Fox Family Heating and Air can get you cooling fast with most parts backed by a lifetime warranty.
Fox Family Heating and Air.
Sitting at your desk? Watch Chris and Company now. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Kevin Michael, Whitey Gleason, Chris Watkins. We appreciate it. Thanks for all the feedback. Here's something from Matt Martin that's interesting. Thank you, Matt, for being with us today. They suspended Draymond for a similar event in the NBA Finals. Why wouldn't they in round one? Well, if I'm right, Matt, and I could be wrong, but if I'm right, you go back to that series, and what did the suspension of Draymond do in that series? First of all, it was on LeBron. What he did was on LeBron. Second
Very
of all,
important.
it led to more games because the Warriors were about to wrap that sucker up. So the
They were.
NBA got more games out of it.
Yep.
How does the NBA get more games out of this series? By suspending Draymond? I don't think so.
Nope.
So, yeah. And also, and I think Sam Amick reported this, Joe Dumars, and we talked about it earlier, Joe Dumars, who ultimately hands down the decision. Maybe there's some input from the commissioner. I don't know, but Joe Dumars and Draymond are pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it certainly could happen. I'll just be really surprised because they did, that was a pretty, people are not going to like this. I think that was a pretty stiff penalty right there. There's a game that the Warriors needed to win the last 7 minutes. Draymond's out.
Right.
Yeah. So I know what he did was pretty heinous, but I think it's easy to justify from the league standpoint, like, well, what we did already, they already felt that.
Yeah, and I think there is still an element of the fact that, again, I especially am not a person who believes that one small action can lead to,
Get off the fence, Chris.
I don't think
Get off the fence, Chris.
I will not get off the fence for another 2 hours. So you better enjoy me here, and then at the end of the show, I'll finally make a decision. But I feel like if Sabonis doesn't have a pretty major part in the because what Sabonis did was not okay either. I mean, the pulling on the ankle to me is its own separate, it's definitely not punishable by
I'm
suspension or fine or anything. But
I understand fans are going to fan, but it's not like he was protecting himself.
No, and I don't think he was protecting his head. He clearly just was trying to prevent Draymond from running down the floor, and that was the course of action he decided to choose. Does that justify Draymond stomping on his chest?
Not unless he was on fire.
Exactly. What exactly? Exactly. Absolutely not. That does not mean that you have free reign to just stomp on someone's chest because they're holding you down. That's not okay. I just think that since Sabonis did have a part in it, and, the reaction was excessive from Draymond, but it was not, he didn't stomp on his face, or he didn't really I don't know. It was relatively harmless. Sure, Sabonis laid on the floor for a while and got x-rays, and they all came back negative. And, maybe if Sabonis has a cracked rib or something, maybe this is a different conversation. And
that shouldn't be a factor, but it is.
It shouldn't.
Because he did what he did regardless of the damage that was sustained.
But, you can then maybe argue that, hey, this guy took Sabonis out of the series. We should take him out of the series for an extended period of time too. But I just don't think that Draymond was right to do it, but I do feel like Sabonis having the part that he did in the incident does make me feel like you do, where maybe the NBA is like, okay, Draymond, it's not like you acted on your own here. It's not like you weren't provoked. There is some justification for what you did.
And if you're right, again, I'm not arguing that they shouldn't. I'm arguing that they won't.
They won't.
And from that standpoint, if they're looking for reasons, if they don't want to, well, how can we justify not suspending him? That's another thing they could mention.
But
he was provoked. That was bad, and he was flagrant too. But he didn't just out of nowhere go down and
I think
down the stomp.
Your point is also important, though, that the Warriors did already lose him for a period of time. The ejection was a really important spot in the game, and the game was in the balance at that point. It could go either side, and for them to make the decision, I mean, they looked at that replay, like we said, for about 5 to 7 minutes there. They really looked at it, and they felt like, he needed to be tossed, and so they made the decision to take him out of that game. Like you're saying, I just have a tough time thinking that the NBA is going to feel like Draymond needs to miss even more time, because last night was already so important.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Let's talk to Gammon. Gammon has been hanging on. Gammon, you're on with Watkins and Whitey. What's up?
Oh, man, I'm so excited right now. Not going to.
It's good time.
Not going to lie. I'm 38. The last time we were in the playoffs, I was just able to buy a legal beer, so I can't believe I'm looking 40 in the face. I just want to say Draymond will not be suspended, and here's the why. Firstly, I hate to bring this topic of conversation to a juvenile level, but Sabonis started it. However, I believe this is done intentionally as part of a broader plan, and I call it mental warfare. In the Pistons-Bulls series, you had the Jordan rules. In the Kings-Lakers, introduced Hack-a-Shack, and I call this trolling Draymond. It's either you get out in front of it and troll him, or he will troll you. And he's clearly the more susceptible player on Golden State. And it's been happening game 1. It's going to happen game 2. And it'll happen game 3. And how he's not aware of this is beyond me. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you. Absolutely. I think that's 100% right.
Yeah.
We know that because Kevin Herter talked about it on the J. Ross with Dave Wiglin show last week. He said, we talked about Draymond. So I wouldn't be surprised if, it's working.
Yeah.
I know some people are saying, you guys sound like you're warrior talk. No, we're saying that the Kings are beating the Warriors at their own game, and they've gotten now back inside Draymond's head, which is fascinating because he spent so much time in the lead up to this series trying to get in the Kings' head. Well, guess what? Access denied.
Yeah.
Go sit down. Go to the locker room.
To the caller's point, too, it is pretty funny to me that Draymond doesn't, that the Kings understand, but Draymond doesn't understand that, Draymond riles himself up in an attempt to get the other team to his energy and try and match his energy and, try and get them to do the antics. The caller's completely right there. And where Draymond doesn't understand that, where he's obviously getting risen up, he's bringing himself to a certain level that is almost bringing him to a red, if you will, where it's like all he does when he's up at that that top energy level is he's kind of liable for anything. You never know what you're going to get. You're going to get good, where we saw the Pelicans game earlier with Golden State, where Draymond down 20 is getting his team riled up and trying to get in the head of the Pelicans, and then eventually leads to the run for the Warriors. That's what he was trying to spark. However, sometimes, and now there's multiple examples of it, of Draymond just gets too riled up and gets in his own way, and it can be a very viable thing to do, is to try and get into his head. And clearly, maybe now Draymond will be a little more palms down, if you will.
Maybe that's kind of not his thing, Chris.
Yeah, who knows? But after he is kind of on, it did feel like, I remember in that Cavs series, it felt like he knew that he was being watched a little bit differently.
Yeah. The Warriors will probably rally around this, or they'll try to, but they're still in denial. Draymond's in denial, doesn't realize that he's getting beaten at his own game. And the Warriors just fail to recognize, they talk about it, but they fail to recognize that they're giving some of these games away, or large portions of the game away anyway. With the turnovers, 22 total turnovers for the Warriors, which is dreadful. And this is a team that all year long, we got to cut down the turnovers. And in a huge game for them, maybe we may look back and say this was the pivotal game of the season for them. 22 turnovers, and the Kings scored 25 points off those 22 turnovers. Also, the Warriors have a disparity all season long. They shoot few free throws. They give up a lot of free throws, which, of course, can kill you. Last night, the Warriors shot 18 free throws. The Kings shot 29. So you ended up with 10 more shots for the Kings than the Warriors. And the Warriors seem to believe that it's okay, we're good enough, we can overcome all of that. Well, not in this series. You cannot.
And that's been the theme to me for the Warriors. It's just, it does feel like the Warriors think that there is some switch that they can flip. There's some things, there's some DNA they feel like they can pull on, that championship DNA from last season that they think that they can bring out still, but we just haven't seen it. And I think at some point Golden State seriously needs to look at themselves in the mirror and be like, look, we are not last year's team. We are this year's team. What can we do to make this year's team better? And I think that they're just relying on their past to carry them into the future.
Up next, how that stomping of Sabonis helped the Kings in a number of ways. That's next. It's Chris and company. He's Watkins. I'm Whitey. Thanks for being with us on Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings have taken a commanding 2-0 the Golden State Warriors.
They end up winning it by 8.
Can the best road team in the West go into Chase Center Thursday night and get a win in Game 3 over the defending champs? Our coverage begins with Cattles and Rami live from the Golden One Center at 2 p.m. with tip-off at 7 from San Francisco. On your home for the Kings, Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports first-round coverage is brought to you by National Garage Door. Doors fit for a king.
Quick Quack Car Wash is a proud partner of the Sacramento Kings and congratulates them on making the playoffs. To celebrate, Quick Quack is giving you the chance to win a free year of car washes. That's right. Get your ride washed anytime you want for an entire year for free. Just text KHTK to 41284. That's KHTK to 41284 for your chance to win. Quick Quack Car Wash, where you can wash your car all you want with an unlimited membership and enjoy fast service in under 3 minutes.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find: happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
How long does it take to tackle a home project? With Angie, you could cross it off your list before this ad is over. Just tell us what you need: indoor or outdoor, repair or redesign, and we handle the rest, sending a top pro to get it done. You don't have to lift a finger, except to tap the screen or click the mouse. Plus, Angie is free to use. So bring us your next home project, and we'll bring it home. Download the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com to get started.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go: shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms: irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Selling your home can be stressful. Scott Marsh here to tell you about Bridgehaven Homes. They are a local home buying company that offers homeowners an easier way to sell their home. Let Shane and his team at bridgehavenhomes.com take all that stress away. Bridgehaven Homes gives you an all-cash offer for your home, no matter what the condition, within 24 hours. You pick the date you wish to close and sell on your terms. No repairs, no showings, no realtor commissions. Go to bridgehavenhomes.com. That's bridgehavenhomes.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Skeeter here, Field Tech, Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District. Hey, it's my favorite week of the year, Mosquito Awareness Week. Yep, the spring and warm weather means the little suckers are starting to breed and bite. Gotcha. So it's time to fight the bite. Once a week, drain standing water from flower pots, bird baths, dog dishes, and at dawn and dusk, start using insect repellent outside and wear long clothes, because these skeeters are out for blood.
The Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District reminds you it's time to fight the bite. For more information, go to fightthebite.net.
Jiffy Lube's Country in the Park, Northern California's biggest country music festival of the year, is back May 5th and 6th at Cal Expo, starring Lady A, Chris Young, Brett Eldridge, and so many more. Plus, a Boots Boot and Line Dance Saloon, interactive lounges, and Sacramento's best food trucks. Weekend passes start at just $80. Tickets are on sale now at SactownSports.com. Country in the Park, brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort, Hanley's Western Wear, and Quick Pack Car Wash.
Truck season savings extended at Maida Chevy at the Elk Grove Auto Mall. Got a huge selection of new 2022 and 23 half-ton Silverados in stock, ready to go. Find your savings at MaidaChevy.com. Find new roads.
KHTK AMHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your home for the Sacramento Kings.
It's Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Laud with your Sactown Sports headlines. The Sacramento Kings now have a 2-0 lead after their 114-106 win over the Warriors last night. Kings and Warriors will have 2 days off and will be back in action in San Francisco for Game 3 on Thursday. You can listen to that game and every Kings playoff game right here on Sactown Sports. Buffalo Bills general manager Brandon Beane announced today that safety Damar Hamlin has been fully cleared to return to football. Hamlin has had a specialist with him while participating at voluntary workouts with the Bills this week. Hamlin has not played a game since he suffered a cardiac arrest against the Cincinnati Bengals on January 2nd. Those are your headlines, so let's get back to Chris and company with Whitey and Watkins.
It's unfortunate in a way that after that gritty Kings win, an epic win that put them up 2-0 over the Warriors, the big topic around here and certainly nationally is Draymond Green stomping on Domantas Sabonis. I understand why it's a big story, and it's something we'll have to continue to follow because we have to see what the NBA may or may not decide to do there. But it does take the focus a little bit off of what the Kings did on the basketball floor last night to win that game.
Yeah, completely. I mean, the story, we're watching ESPN over here on the side, and they're not talking about the game. They're not talking about the fact that there you go. Now they show the Warriors fall 2-0. Finally, I know. Yeah, what a concept. The score is actually up there. But, it's super disappointing because, Whitey, this is ridiculous. I mean, the Sacramento Kings, a team who has not been in the postseason for 16 seasons, this is their first season back, are playing the defending champions, and they're up 2-0 on the Golden State Warriors. And Steph Curry's playing.
Beating them. They're not just, it's not like Warriors. Oh, the Warriors had a really bad night. So, the Kings, everything they threw and went in. Yeah. That's not what's going on.
No. Both and you know what? You could argue. I think both teams would probably say that they haven't shot the ball well either. I think both teams feel like they have left a lot on the floor and that there's still, a whole nother element that can be reached for both teams. And that's what's exciting. It's also a little bit scary if you're Sacramento because, these are also, you can't forget, we've just taken care of business. This is nothing the Kings have done has been extraordinary in terms of what you're expected to do as the top seed. The Kings just really did what they're supposed to do, hold court at home. And now the goal is to hopefully take one on the road, but the job isn't finished yet. There's still a long time to go, and I know it's exciting. And I myself am ready to get ahead of myself and not listen to my own advice and say Kings in 5 for sure. But there's still a lot of things that can happen between now and even game 3, game 4. There's so much that can go down. We don't know about injury, health, and all of that, but
Jordan Poole's injury is looming large.
I think the Poole thing, the fact that, he looked terrible last night after kind of being a game time decision. And from what I understood, I was talking with Frankie right before the game started. He said he watched Poole in warmups and he was like, he doesn't look great. He definitely is injured and is hobbled. So that'll be interesting to see how much they can rely on him. They got a good performance at a GP2 yesterday. I think that's pretty cool for the Kings, for them to survive Gary Payton scoring 13 points. He also was 2 of 3 from 3 last night. The fact that the Kings were able to survive a good GP offensive game, I think, was big for them. But it's really disappointing that the story today is it's called the stomp, right? We're just gonna from now on, we're just gonna call it the stomp. The story is the stomp.
By the way, you were right. Last night we did see a little bit Terrence Davis. I know I had said he ain't going to play. He didn't play.
A wee bit.
I mean, if you blinked, you missed him, but he was he was out there.
See, Whitey, you were saying, I don't think that we see Terrence Davis because of the inconsistencies on defense and all that. And then I think Mike Brown quickly came to the same realization that you did.
That's how desperate he was for offense in that first quarter, though.
Yeah.
Right? Can somebody make a shot?
Somebody, please, anybody.
GD.
He put in Davion.
Never mind.
No. Geez, this was a bad idea. Whitey was right. I don't know why. Whitney was right. I don't even know. I don't know why I thought that.
It is good to have that available to you. Last night, interesting comments post game from, first of all, from the Inside the NBA crew coming up in just about 10 minutes. They had a really interesting debate on where's Draymond supposed to put his foot. Mm-hmm. No, it was excessive. With Shaq and Barkley and Kenny and Ernie. At
all the right characters.
One point, Shaq says, well, why don't you lay on the ground and then I'll see what my options are. It was great. So we have that coming up for you. But also last night, Sam Mitchell, who I think as a media member, to me, he's really underrated because he was a player, coach of the year.
Right.
Yeah. And he doesn't have a lot of recognition. His name is not very well recognized compared to NBA stars, but he's a really good analyst. He said last night on NBA TV, he said what happened was when you had the stomping of Sabonis, the game stopped for 7 minutes. And he says De'Aaron Fox was killing the Warriors, but he was getting tired. Then he got to rest for 7 minutes, and then the game started again, and good night. De'Aaron Fox was rested and took care of business the rest of the way.
It was really
a really interesting comment.
It was kind of like a little mini halftime. It was a 5 to 7 minute break of just straight rest. They could sit down, they can gather themselves. I think De'Aaron had played heavy minutes in that third quarter, if I'm not mistaken. He played heavy minutes in the fourth quarter. They brought him in. I think they brought him in the last 3 minutes of the third quarter and then pretty much played him the rest of that game. So I think that 7 minute break was huge because, again, it let Sacramento get their rest, compose themselves a little, and they came out firing after that break. And it just never felt like Golden State could really gain the momentum that they lost there. And there was still, there was 7 minutes left when Draymond got ejected. There was time for, like I said, the game was kind of in the balance.
Any which way,
either which way.
Peyton, one of his threes actually tied the game.
Yes, it did. It tied the game late. And the Kings responded. To me, that was, again, we talked about the Kings in the clutch and just how efficient they were. They've been so good in the clutch, and it was a big reason why they won yesterday was just the elite shot making. And for Davion Mitchell to hit that corner three to put it up to 9 was so big. And I just want to give huge shout out to Davion because, all season long, it was a really, really rough offensive season for him. I think he shot 32, something like that, % from 3.
That shot looks good right now.
It looks so good. And the fact that he's able to knock down all he has to do is knock down a couple shots in a game for him to be able to stay in it. And his defensive impact was so huge. I mean, he was guarding Curry the second Steph crossed that half court line. Davion was meeting him, and the Warriors were trying to get a screen, a high screen up there. Domas was doing a great job of meeting him at the point of the screen as well. I was really impressed with Davion's defense and really his offense yesterday as well.
Kevin O'Connor on Twitter had a really interesting observation. I think we'll get more into it here as the show progresses, but the Kings have done an excellent job of shutting down some of the Warriors' offensive actions because they know them so well.
Right.
So what the Warriors are doing is they're just relying more and more and more and more on the high pick and roll and trying to pick
They're
on
running
Sabonis.
it to death.
They're having some success with it, but a lot of that is because the Kings that don't play any defense, and I've said that as much as anybody, they're shutting down the Warriors' offense.
Yeah, I mean, they're just playing so tough that it's like, the Warriors are kind of getting the matchups they want. They're getting the switches. They're getting Sabonis onto Curry, and they're just really, really playing tough. They're doing great help defense. There's always an eye on Steph, and it does feel like there's always a hand up on every shot. They're always contesting them. There's just a level of defensive intensity that I didn't expect. I didn't anticipate. I don't think anyone realistically could have expected. There's no way you could watch the Kings play defense all year long and see that they could be the ones to flip a switch and play defense the way they are, because this is what they're doing is incredible. Like, if they play like this during the regular season, which probably just isn't sustainable, this is like the best defense I've seen in the playoffs as well. There's just a different level that this Kings team is playing at. I don't know how long they can continue to do it. We'll see if also it travels on the road as well. This has been 2 home games. I'm sure it's a little easier to play that intensive defense when you have the crowd behind you. But from what I've seen so far, that has been the biggest revelation. And if the Kings can still be an elite offense while playing this level of defense, I don't know how far this team can go, but it's really, really far, Whitey, and we might be doing this show for a while if they keep with this level of defense.
Way back when, around 2000 or so, when the Kings burst, the J. Will team, they burst onto the national basketball consciousness. They had a reserve bunch, that the bench mob, and John Barry, I think, had T-shirts made, and they were the bench mob. I don't know if this bench it needs a nickname, and I don't have one in mind. I'm not going to waste time on that, at least not right now.
Not right now.
But make no mistake, the Kings bench is destroying the Warriors bench. The Warriors have guys like Kuminga, and I got to be careful what I say because he's my wife Sheena's favorite Warrior, but he's like almost unplayable right now.
He is.
They put JaMychal Green out there last night. It's like, well, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
They're looking for answers. Poole's injury exacerbates it for them. And the Kings at one point last night, they had Len and Lyles on the floor.
How about that?
And Herter at the 3 and Monk and Fox. And it was like, and it was an effective unit.
Yeah. How about that? I mean, and that's credit mostly, I think, still to who we still haven't given him enough airtime. Alex Len, who continues to be. This is the biggest compliment I can give. He's been incredibly playable these past 2 games. He has been so.
It's not like he's on the floor and you go, oh no.
Yes.
There's no more groan when he comes in.
Yes, right. There's actual cheer. It's not. And again, no disrespect to Alex. It's just when he comes in during the regular season, you expect, oh, okay, like the Kings are just kind of getting by, hoping to get with size. Alex is making real impact. He blocked Draymond yesterday, had a couple huge dunks yesterday, didn't quite have the same effect that you would want on the glass. He didn't have 7 rebounds like he did in the first game, but I thought you still felt his presence. And to me, again, incredibly playable. As long as he can, he finished with 8 minutes yesterday, not as much as I think they would want to run him out for, but still allowed.
Effective 8 minutes.
Exactly. He played every minute that Domas wasn't on the floor. So Domas played just under 40 minutes. The other day, Alex played, I think, 16 minutes and was able to give Domas a little bit longer of a rest, but just huge for Alex Len to be able to stay on the floor. And if anything, I'm shocked. I'm really, really shocked that Golden State doesn't just attack Alex Len every single time. I don't really know. It seems like when Sabonis is on the floor, they have no problem using that mismatch with Curry to try and expose Sabonis. It's really, really strange to me that they're not getting that Len switch onto Curry and just running it until the Kings have to take Alex Len off the floor.
Did you hear what Shaq and Kenny and Barkley had to say last night about the stomp on Sabonis? You didn't? Well, you need to hear it. Good thing we have it for you next on Chris and Company, Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
It's Cattles and Rami.
Yeah, we got big bottles of hand sanitizer.
Straight at the Costco.
Rami,
Just rolling it into the house.
we spare no expense for hand sanitizer and Lysol wipes, baby.
Now, at home, everything you touch, you have to hand sanitize, or you trust your home is clean enough? Those are yours and Kelly's germs, so it doesn't matter.
At home, I do the same thing. It's not fun. I mean, what we're doing is we're really laughing at a chemical imbalance in my head. We do know that, right?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm perfectly quiet back here.
Cattles and Rami, weekday afternoons from 2 to 6 on Sactown Sports.
Great team. Where's the defense? Defense! Okay, everyone take a break. Greetings, Sacramento. Doug Christie here for the Good Feet store, asking, when is something too good to be true? When it probably is. And had I not experienced it for myself, this spectacular season would definitely qualify as too good to be true. So everyone out there in radio land, continue to enjoy. Something else that could seem too good to be true is Good Feet arch supports. But trust me, I've experienced firsthand the comfort, balance, and support possible with Good Feet arch supports. And so have countless others who have pretty much given up hope. It's time you felt good again. Take your feet to the Good Feet store for a free personalized arch support fitting and test walk. Experience for yourself the comfort, balance, and support missing in your life. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and now Vacaville, online at goodfeet.com.
Keeping you company with the company. It's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
It's Whitey and Watkins on Chris and Company, and this is on me, Chris, because I'm the one that mentioned the bench mob, and I really wasn't trying to get some ideas.
Name suggestions
for nicknames for the Kings bench, but of course, we have a few anyway. Thank you. YouTube chat comes up with just a few real quick here. Joel suggests the Monk mob. Let's see. Luan Lundang says Beam Bench, and Patrick has the Disruptors. And then there's one I didn't quite follow, the Alliance, something to do with Len, or I didn't quite follow that one. I need to decipher that.
There's something happening there.
Just a few suggestions there, which is cool because I didn't even ask for them.
Yeah.
But there you are. The point is, whatever you call them, the Kings bench is destroying the Warriors bench.
They absolutely are. And you know, it's so big for them to get consistent production out of Malik Monk. That's something that you know, we talked a lot in the lead up to this series about how important the benches would be and the X factorness of the benches, and the fact that they've gotten two really solid games out of Malik Monk, I think is huge. I don't know if the Kings can continue to bank on him. It feels like what Malik's doing is sustainable, but for them to get that production. And then, yesterday in game one, it was Trey Lyles who came in and hit some really big shots and scored a lot off the bench as well as Malik Monk. Yesterday it was Davion Mitchell. I'm telling you, the Kings all season long, it's always somebody else on the bench. It's the Kings routinely. I think last night they finished with 6 guys in double figures. They finished with 7 guys pretty often. I think 13 or 14 times this season. Their bench, if they can consistently get this kind of contribution from their bench, again, it's just another thing that makes this team so lethal, because a lot of teams, and Golden State specifically, just only have a certain amount of guys who can get them 15, 20 plus points.
As promised, in just a moment here, we'll share with you what Kenny and Shaq and Barkley and Ernie Johnson had to say about Draymond stomping on Sabonis. Really interesting views and opposing views, which is what made it so interesting. But before we get to that, speaking of Shaq, as you said yesterday, Chris.
What's up, Whitey?
Yeah. Hey, Shaq, how are you? I noticed you're growing some facial hair here. I think that's a good idea, growing that out.
Yeah.
But is it true, Shaq, that you believe that the others, as you call them, they tend to play better when their team's at home?
Oh, stop it.
I am looking for that for sure, especially with Golden State going to Chase Center.
They need that.
Can they get
that to happen?
They have to have their role players step up. Can they get a 15-point performance out of Dante DiVincenzo, who gave them, let me see here, Whitey, he scored as much as you and I did yesterday. 0 points. Took the same amount of shots as you and I as well. 0 attempts in 13 minutes.
That's really stunning.
Can they get something out of Dante DiVincenzo? Jordan Poole, I know he rolled his ankle. Can they get more than 4 points out of Jordan Poole? You would think so. Gary Payton, like I said, Gary Payton had a great offensive night last night. The fact that the Kings were able to survive that, GP played 26 minutes last night. The only reason he's able to do that is because he's hitting shots. Can he continue to hit shots at home? Jonathan Kuminga, you mentioned. I don't know what I really think Kuminga should be playing more. How do you feel about Kuminga? I know you said that he's your wife's favorite player, but I feel like defensively, he can be a real asset for Golden State in this series.
He looks to me, last night didn't play much. First game, things were moving maybe a little too fast for him.
Yeah,
and I don't think he had a single rebound in the first game. He had one last night.
Yeah,
one
that's
offensive
a problem.
rebound.
That's definitely a problem.
And Steve Kerr just feels obviously like they're not getting anything close to what they need to get from him. Maybe they always with him because they recognize his talent. They always give him another chance, and they need him. So I'm sure he's going to get another chance to get more comfortable back home.
I wonder,
but these first 2 games, he hasn't helped them.
How do you think that their rotation changes with their backs? I don't want to say their backs to the wall, but down 0-2, they definitely can't really be kind of like you're talking about, a little more experimental. It sounds like do those Kuminga minutes just go away? Do they?
No, I think they'll give him another shot because they need him. Poole's injury, complicates things, but also they
Moody
were compromised.
Got 9 minutes last night, surprisingly.
In all fairness, the foul issues really affected them last night. And I said it before the series started. Sabonis is going to have 4 fouls by the 6-minute mark of the first quarter.
Yeah.
That's the way playoff basketball works. Right. When you're playing a team like the Warriors and the league would like them to win and you're up on them.
Yep.
It just wouldn't surprise me if we see that.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't either. And that's going to be big on Alex Len because they're going to – it'll be interesting to see how Sacramento answers on their side because without Sabonis, again, backup center has been a huge question all season long.
All right, last night, we saw Sabonis grabbing. Some say, he was just hanging on. He's trying to protect himself. He grabs Draymond Green's foot. You saw it, and Draymond Green stomps on him. This was the breakdown. Shaquille O'Neal, Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, former King, and Charles Barkley on Inside the NBA.
Respond to that. True, he was being grabbed, but it's his reaction to being grabbed, which results in the flagrant 2. You can't just stomp on a guy's chest.
Actually, you can.
He had other options.
No.
He didn't have to.
It was excessive. One bad play begets another.
One wasn't excessive.
Doesn't matter.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
I'm not going to sit up here and be a hypocrite. I did the same thing. I really would. Don't be grabbing me because what am I going to do? Like if I stay there and just try to run forward, I'll fall. You got to get them up off you. And if you're up off you and you're in the way, you might get stomped on. Was it a dirty play? Of course it was a dirty play.
But then just say that and leave it alone.
Hey, if you don't grab me, this won't happen.
You can't go, you can't go around.
That's true. If he never grabbed him, that wouldn't happen. I would agree with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
One bad play begets another bad play. That's it. Well, don't grab me.
But if I grab you and you hit me with a chair, it's just excessive. I'm just saying the stomp was I'm not saying that he shouldn't get him off.
Okay, well,
but it was a little excessive.
Hold on. Would you like to get on the floor and show me the options when somebody grabs you?
No, I'm not going to just move away.
Move away how?
Just walk.
All right, lay on the floor and grab Michael.
No, you got a bad hit. Stop. This is not a time.
Why don't you lay on the floor and I'll see if I can stomp on you.
All right, come on. I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll do it right now.
Okay. Anyway,
I'm gonna stop
What
on
else
your
is he
face.
supposed
I
to
can't
do?
hurt that thing.
He didn't have to do what he did.
It was
What was he supposed to
excessive.
do?
He could have.
Just give me the options of what he's supposed to do.
Come on, man.
Just give me
Zach,
one or two.
you know what he could have done.
Just give me
He
one
could
or two options.
have. He could have brought attention to the fact that he was grabbing his
So there you go. Some interesting points. Shaq said, yes, it was a dirty play, but I do the same thing. I don't doubt that he would. That's fine, but that doesn't make it okay. And it is excessive. And Kenny Smith's right. Hey, yeah, Sabonis, you shouldn't have grabbed him, but that doesn't justify stomping on him. So I understand where Shaq's coming from, but he practically admits it. Yeah, it's a dirty play, and I would do it.
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't make it right. That's fine, and we know you would, and that's what Draymond decided to do. But the thing is, Draymond was outsmarted. That's the key, and the Kings are not supposed to be outsmarting Draymond.
Yeah. First off, shout out Ernie Johnson, who continues to try and keep that show on track as the guys are trying to demonstrate who's going to get stomped on. I agree with
By
Kenny.
the way, when Shaq on that show, when he does this, sometimes when he challenges one of the other guys physically, usually Charles, I have no doubt that if Charles was up for it, Shaq would go.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then Charles like, no. But
Shaq,
he's not just talking.
No, Shaq does not do anything halfway. He is full tilt every single thing he does, whether it's DJing or running to the video board.
Yeah.
Shaq is giving his 100% effort.
Kings owner.
Yeah, exactly. Former Kings minority owner Shaquille O'Neal. Kenny, I think Kenny's completely right there, where it's just excessive. Like, just because I pull on your leg, if you hit me with a chair because I pulled on your leg, well, that's not quite like even punishment there. That's not quite.
If Draymond steps on him instead of like full on stomping him,
Yeah.
it's a completely different story.
Yes. Also that as well, right?
Yeah,
because
I
he didn't just step on him. It's not like he used Sabonis as for foot placement. He did like we're calling it the stomp. We all acknowledge, we all see that he put excessive force onto his step.
He's like, you're going to grab my foot. Here's what I have for you.
Exactly.
Okay, well, you can't do that.
Yeah, that's the level. That's why he warrants the ejection. I just don't know. I wish they gave some thoughts about whether or not they think that he'll be suspended or not, because that to me is where this conversation is at now. And I don't know. I still feel like we talked about earlier. I just think the NBA won't do it. I just don't think that they. It was
big conspiracy on you, and I don't think this is a factor.
Please, let's put on the tinfoil.
Other NBA owners, and I'm not talking about Vivek. I'm taking him out of it. But other owners around the league, they resent the Warriors and the whole light years ahead of everybody.
Yeah.
And if they had any say in this, hey, Commish, let's give them what they deserve here. Let's wrap up this whole reign right here, because they're asking for it. So you need to suspend Draymond, and then maybe they come out of that hole, but it doesn't look like it. I kind of hope it doesn't come to that. I'd rather, if the Kings are going to beat the Warriors, they beat them at close to full strength, because I think they're capable of that.
Yeah, I do too. And they've
proven that.
It wouldn't feel dirty, but there is also, there's a lot of Warrior fans who still have that asterisk on that Cleveland title, because they do feel like, well, that's just not a fair. I mean, you completely changed the series. And as Kings fans, we're up 2-0 right now. I think the last thing that we want is any sort of, you can't downgrade this series win if the Kings do get it. And you want it to be fair and square, and you want to be able to say, we took on your guys' best punch and we were just better. That's a whole lot more satisfying. It's a whole lot more of a statement if you do it, like you're saying, Whitey, with them at full strength. Then if Draymond has to miss a game, it kind of just adds a layer of but what would have happened if? Leave no doubt.
That said, a win's a win. You beat them, no matter how you beat them, and that would be great for the Kings. I'm not saying that a suspension is not justified by Draymond's actions. I just don't think the league is going to go there. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't think they want more games with the Warriors. I don't think they're going to suspend them, but we will see. How are the Kings beating the Warriors at their own game? We're going to need some time for that, because there are a number of ways, and we will count them next. It's Chris and Company, Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings have taken a commanding 2-0 lead over the Golden State Warriors.
They end up winning it by 8.
Can the best road team in the West go into Chase Center Thursday night and get a win in Game 3 over the defending champs? Our coverage begins with Cattles and Rami live from the Golden One Center at 2 p.m. with tip-off at 7 from San Francisco on your home for the Kings, Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports first round coverage is brought to you by National Garage Door. Doors fit for a king.
Hey, Scott, I haven't seen you in over a year, and you look great. Good to see you, too. Yeah, I'm feeling good and have a new job. No, there's something different about the way you look. To be honest, a few months ago, I had an amazing robotic hair transplant procedure with Dr. Singh at Excel Medicine. It's called the artist procedure. No way. Your hair looks completely natural, and you don't even have a scar. How did they do that? Dude, the artist system is amazing. I have this fantastic hairline, and I'm happy with my results. He could probably help you, too, buddy.
Using the artist procedure, Dr. Singh can target target and harvest healthy hair follicles with micron-level accuracy from the back of your head and transplant them where you need it. The procedure is painless, and you'll be back doing your regular activities in a couple of days. Ask Dr. Singh at Excel Medicine about the ARTIS procedure. Call today, 916-932-4470. That's 932-4470 for a complimentary in-person or Zoom consultation, or on the web at excelmedicine.com. That's EXCEL medicine.com. See what the ARTIS procedure can do for you.
These are actors and not real patients. Get to Acura of Stockton, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. And right now, lease a new Acura TLX, MDX, or Integra with low lease rates available. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. Spring officially here. And with the long, cold, and rainy winter behind us, I'm sure you're counting the days until summer. But don't wait until it's hot to make sure your air conditioner is working efficiently and, most importantly, safely. Get ahead of the problem with a $49 AC tune-up from American Energy Heat and Air. There's nothing worse than your air conditioner going out when it's hot outside. Get a tune-up today and make sure you and your family are comfortable and cool in your home for the hot summer months that are right around the corner. Give them a call, 916-520-9990, or schedule your appointment online at AmericanEnergyAir.com. Better Business Bureau, A+ rating. Serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. Easy, convenient payment options, same as cash, low monthly payments through financing partners. What do you need? 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
New flooring instantly updates a room. RC Willie has incredible selection of carpet, hardwood, tile, and laminate. Their experts will help you find the perfect floor for your home and schedule a free in-home measure. Shop RC Willie in Elk Grove or Rockland today.
Life is uncertain. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. CalHope can help. Access CalHope's free and secure mental health resources. Call 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org.
The wait is over. Maida Subaru has a great selection of new Subarus in stock, more arriving daily, and big savings on all of them. And you can see all the savings at MaidaSubaru.com. So what are you waiting for?
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Live with your Sactown Sports Headlines. Sacramento Kings now have a 2-0 lead after a 114-106 win over the Warriors last night. Kings and Warriors will have 2 days off and will be back in action in San Francisco for Game 3 on Thursday. You can listen to that game and every Kings playoff game right here on Sactown Sports. Buffalo Bills general manager Brandon Beane announced today that safety DeMar Hamlin has been fully cleared to return to football. Hamlin has had a specialist with him while participating at voluntary workouts with the Bills this week. Hamlin has not played a game since he suffered a cardiac arrest against the Cincinnati Bengals on January 2nd. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to Chris and Company with Whitey and Watkins.
Fascinating comments on the YouTube chat. You want to join us on the phone today, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. I'm Whitey, he's Watkins. We're going to get to ways in which the Kings are beating the Warriors at their own game. But we're also talking about Draymond. That's actually one of the ways the Kings are beating the Warriors at their own game because they outsmarted Draymond last night. On the YouTube chat, James X points out, I agree with this 100%, Chris. Give Mike Brown credit to have his team mentally prepared for Draymond's antics by not responding.
Absolutely, because you pointed at it last segment. They've talked about it. They have had a Draymond Green conversation before the series even started about guys. Even heard her saying palms up or palms down instead of palms up. It's just about staying focused at the task at hand. It's already a big enough hurdle to try and play and defeat the defending champions. You don't need to try and also beat them mentally as well. They're going to try and play 2 different games, one off the floor and one on the floor. It's hard enough to beat them on the floor. You don't need to try and bring the off the floor stuff into the game as well. You just need to focus on the game. And to the Kings' credit, they've done a really good job of that. But Draymond Green, it's not going to be easy. And something tells me this isn't also going to be the last that we hear of Draymond Green pulling antics. I think, it's what he does. He's going to try and get in their head, and the Kings just have to continue to do a good job of letting Draymond be Draymond, let him do his thing, and just not get into it as either. I also saw Clay yesterday. He wasn't necessarily talking with anybody, but he was definitely amped up to a certain level. I'm just wondering if maybe this Warrior team in general is I don't really know what the word for it, but maybe they feel a little bit of anxiety with it. I don't think they started to feel it in the game the other day, but I think maybe they're starting to respect the Kings a little bit more and just weren't anticipating being in this big of a battle to start the playoffs.
They're sensing their own mortality in a way that they've never had to deal with before.
I think that's
never
it.
been down 2-0 under the Steve Kerr, his coach. They've never had to face that. So, yeah, they're going to come out, you would have to think, fired up, and they'll rally around this. And what kind of impact could that have for the next game? I don't know. But I know this. Gabriella, thank you, Gabriella, on the YouTube says, you're saying Draymond can do whatever he wants so another team's fan base doesn't talk about the Kings win, because if there are no consequences like there haven't been until now, which is why his tantrums get worse and worse, because he gets away with it. You're right, but make no mistake, like the NBA – they don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to make money. And if there's an opportunity there where sponsors are really upset by this, well, we have to suspend somebody. Mark Cuban said this years ago. I actually think I said it before him, but he said it years ago. When a league suspends somebody, they find somebody, they just want to make it look like we really care about these things. They don't.
Right. And it's not, we kind of pointed at
decent and good. They want to make their money.
Right. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
We pointed earlier at the NBA. It's better for the NBA if Draymond Green plays these games.
I think so. And I think that's why he's not going to be suspended. I agree. He should be, but I don't think he will be.
You're a lot more likely to tune in if Draymond Green has that antic in game 2 and then plays in game 3 to see, how is Draymond going to act in game 3? Then if he does, and this is obviously not talking about here. Obviously, everyone in Northern California, Golden State Warrior fan, Kings fan, they're going to watch these games regardless. It doesn't matter if it's you and I playing on Thursday. They're going to watch the game. If from a national perspective, it's a lot more of an interesting story if Draymond Green is playing in game 3, because people, again, will tune in to see how he reacts, how he acts in game 3. Whereas if they suspend him from game 3, there's a lot of potential. People could tune out. They might just be like, well, if I don't watch and the Kings win, the Kings are up 3-0. I'm done with this series. It was fun. The fun first 2 games. Now it's over. And if the Draymond doesn't play and the Warriors win, it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, that's good for them. But you want to watch Draymond Green is the bigger point.
And let me just say this too, and I think we all know this, if you thought about it at all, when Sabonis got stomped on, my first thought was that can really damage somebody. I mean, not only crack ribs, but you can really damage internal organs and things like that. And I guess they were doing more tests today. Thank goodness that none of that happened. I mean, you can really, really badly injure somebody by stepping on
and especially, fourth quarter, you got to imagine he's pretty tired already. If you step on someone's chest and, I don't know what that does to your breathing, to,
it's not good for it, Chris.
There's no way it's great, right?
Get on the floor and I'll show you.
When an exhausted chest compression probably is not ideal. And so, I mean, there was real chance that Draymond could have seriously injured Sabonis in some form or fashion, but knock on wood, thankfully the x-rays came back negative and everything seems fine. But that's also an element to it of how dangerous was it what Draymond did. It was definitely, like we've gone over, it wasn't cool, it wasn't acceptable, it was excessive, but how dangerous was it? Do you think that he really could have cracked ribs? I mean, because like we said, if he could have cracked ribs.
But Draymond also had an MRI, right?
He did. Draymond, which is just, it's just hilarious. The fact that Draymond Green had an X-ray on his foot, on his ankle, to see if there was any structural damage from Sabonis pulling his ankle, to me is just another I will have to admit, that's pretty chef's kiss. That is a beautiful troll job right there. And they legitimately did it, but obviously nothing was wrong with Draymond's ankle.
First round playoff coverage on Sactown Sports is brought to you by National Garage Door. National Garage Door, quality doors, quality people. So as I've said before, I think clearly the Kings out-Draymonded Draymond last night. We'll see where it goes from here. But I think there are other ways in which the Kings are beating the Warriors at their own game. And I think it's starting to get to the Warriors a little bit. Obviously, they do have I don't know if it's a trump card, but we're going back home. But these teams are so similar. Yeah. And the Kings are just, I think Mike Brown has to have the most to do with the fact that the Kings are, to this point, prepared for whatever the Warriors are throwing at them.
Yeah, it seems like it. It seems like everything, the Kings haven't really been left without an answer, and they're always doing something different. The Warriors have completely taken away the Kings dribble handoffs and the backdoor cuts. It more so the cuts than the handoffs, but the Kings just continue to keep rolling. 126 points in game one, a mere 114 in this one. It doesn't really matter that Golden State has taken what Sacramento is like to do best this season. The Kings are still giving them everything that they got, and I think you're completely right that it has to do with the fact that anything the Warriors do isn't going to surprise Mike Brown. He knows everything that these guys know, and knows also the weak points of it as well.
Yeah, the Kings did not shoot the ball very well at all last night. That is one area in which I wouldn't say the Kings are not out shooting the Warriors from three, but at the same time, the Kings are doing a good job of limiting the Warriors. It's not like the Warriors are killing them from beyond the arc.
Right.
And that push, that trade-off is one the Kings will gladly take because this Warriors team, there aren't a lot of other ways they can beat you with the way this roster is put together.
They score the fewest amount of points in the paint. They score the most threes in the league. It's kind of their game plan is just, we are going to outshoot you and you're not going to be able to survive our offense. The problem is the Kings are that, like you said, they are out-warrioring the Warriors. It feels like their offense. Yes, the Warriors offense is incredible. Yes, it can be incredibly scary, but so can the Kings offense. And they just have so many more weapons and so many different ways of getting those points. They can score in flurries from two. They can score in flurries from inside the restricted area. They also have the ability to knock down the perimeter shots, where it does feel like Golden State's kind of a one-trick pony, if you will, where it's just they're just going to try and hit. They're going to try and play math. They're going to try and score more threes than you can twos, and essentially just play the game of runs. And it's worked for them. It's how they've won their championships, but also they just aren't. They aren't hitting shots at the same level that they've traditionally hit them at.
Yeah, and the most stunning thing is that the Kings have had a lot to do with that.
Yes.
They've made those threes a lot more difficult for the Warriors than I think certainly the Warriors expected. Coming up, we'll get to the phones. Hang on if you can. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. We'll get to as many as we can. Also, YouTube chat. We appreciate that. Coming up, speaking of the Kings defense, I am not used to Charles Barkley saying the things that he said about the Kings last night. That's next. Chris and Company, Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Catch the Oakland A's every weekend on Sactown Sports. Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Sinking, that's going to get down for a hit. Around third to score is Tony Kemp. And the A's have taken the lead. Edge of the track, makes the catch. And the Athletics get a great win.
Sactown Sports, your weekend home for the Oakland A's.
Sactown Sports coverage of the Oakland A's is brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language? In as little as 3 weeks, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Since the 1950s, Warehouse Paint has been helping local homeowners and professionals bring color to life. Whether it's painting your home's exterior, repainting kitchen cabinets, or finding the perfect accent color, Warehouse Paint's expert team is here to help. You'll find a great selection of PPG and Benjamin Moore paints, along with local service you can trust. With 5 Sacramento area stores, Warehouse Paint is ready to help bring your next paint project to life. Visit warehousepaint.com for a store near you.
Ace fans need Friday night plans? Well, we got you covered. Get 4 tickets and parking for any Friday night game starting at just $49 with the Friday 4-pack presented by Chevrolet. Save big and enjoy great matchups, post-game fireworks and drone shows, giveaways, and more this 2023 season.
He drills one to right, way back, and no doubt, and that quickly the A's have taken the lead. Second deck.
Friday night tickets are available at athletics.com/value. That's athletics.com/value.
Mosquito here. Field Tech, Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District. Hey, it's my favorite week of the year, Mosquito Awareness Week. Yep, the spring and warm weather means the little suckers are starting to breed and bite. Gotcha. So it's time to fight the bite. Once a week, drain standing water from flower pots, bird baths, dog dishes, and at dawn and dusk, start using insect repellent outside and wear long clothes, because these skeeters are out for blood.
The Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District reminds you it's time to fight the bite. For more information, go to fightthebite.net.
Selling your home can be stressful. Scott Marsh here to tell you about Bridgehaven Homes. They are a local home buying company that offers homeowners an easier way to sell their home. Let Shane and his team at bridgehavenhomes.com take all that stress away. Bridgehaven Homes gives you an all-cash offer for your home, no matter what the condition, within 24 hours. You pick the date you wish to close and sell on your terms. No repairs, no showings, no realtor commissions. Go to bridgehavenhomes.com. That's bridgehavenhomes.com.
Carmichael Dave here, welcoming back my dear friends at Fire Wings. 21 different flavors. I had 4 of those 21 Saturday for the game, watching with the family. As always, breaded Malaysian curry. Yeah, you better bet I got that curry. Knocked it out of the park, too. Go to firewings.com to make your order. That's what we did. We ordered 2 hours in advance, picked it up. There's nothing better for the game than Fire Wings. Check out the locations nearest you. Fire Wings, just wing it.
Kenny and Jerry here from Bell Brothers. Imagine if every time you bought something, you could get a second one for 30% off. Buy one car, get the second one for 30% off.
Buy one TV, get the second one at 30% off. Buy a new house and get the second one at 30% off.
At Bell Brothers, that's exactly what we're offering this spring on windows and doors. When you buy one brand new energy-efficient window for your home, you'll get the second one at 30% off.
A minimum purchase is required, but the discount applies to every second window you buy. For example, if you buy 5 windows, you'll get 5 windows at 30% off.
The same is true for doors. Buy one, get one for 30% off. And for doors, the minimum is just 2.
So call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or find us online at theNoSurpriseGuys.com. That's 916-444-1234 or find us online at theNoSurpriseGuys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Make your New Year's resolutions yet? Let me help. Trade out of that old car and into something safe and reliable, like a new Folsom Lake Kia with a low payment. Shop Folsom Lake Kia, family owned for over 20 years.
Live and local, it's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Maybe I imagined this. I don't think so. I heard last night after the Kings' victory over the Warriors, 114-106. What an incredible game. What a series. I heard Charles Barkley say, the Kings are playing defense. And I was like, I'm hallucinating.
There's no way. There is no way. I feel like I'm hallucinating at times where, again, like I don't know where this came from, Whitey. I saw none of this happening in the regular season. And every single Sacramento King who steps on the floor is defending like their life depends on it. And it's great to see. It's making the Kings a whole lot more dangerous of a team. But wow. Oh, like I in my opinion, they're playing in, different series kind of play out different ways and have different styles. But I think what the Kings have done defensively has been the most impressive thing that I've seen of any team this postseason. Just the switch that they flipped and the caliber of team that I think that they can be if they actually do truly commit to the defensive side of the ball it's really, really scary. And again, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but
Be careful.
I
get off the
I
fence.
will. I'm going to get off the fence. I'm going to try and get off the fence. I feel like this team could really, really go deep in the playoffs if they continue to play this level of defense.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Chris Watkins has been on the fence.
I have.
About the Draymond suspension, right? Yes. I can see how they might. They would.
Not on how I feel, but on whether the NBA
whether
will
they
do
will.
it.
Let's see what Steve thinks. Steve, you're on Chris and Company with White and Watkins. What's up, Steve?
Yeah, hi. Yeah, speaking as a physician, I think this has been crossed over and got to the point of the absurdity. Look no further than DeMar Hamlin to see what happens if you get a shot to the chest. It's called a precordial thump. And he came really close to delivering that blow that who knows what could have happened to him. And it's not like he doesn't have a history of this. I mean, there was the Kyrie Irving kick in 2016. He kicked James Harden in that same year. The LeBron shot to the groin. I mean, the guy has got a history. And I think it's time you get a multi-game suspension.
Thank you, doctor.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I'd forgotten about DeMar Hamlin, by the way,
Yes, yeah.
cleared by doctors to resume football activity. That was breaking news today, which is great news. But
great for him.
I had not even considered that, Dr. Steve. Thank you. No, that's a great
It is.
point.
No, it really is. I mean, yeah, you just don't. When you stomp on someone's chest, yeah, you have no idea how that's going to, especially like I said.
Sounds like you have experience.
He's already tired. I've had the wind knocked out of me multiple times
you have
when I'm
the other way.
already
Okay.
exhausted.
Yeah.
And it's not fun to have the wind knocked out of you when you're exhausted. I can't imagine what it feels like, again, to kind of like Doctor said there, to have a full-blown chest compression when you're exhausted in the middle of the fourth quarter. I can't imagine.
Brent, you're on with Whitey and Watkins. What's up today, Brent?
Hey, I just wanted to say Draymond got Draymond. He could have took a 5-on-4 and helped his team.
Yep.
Instead, he lost it and cost him an ejection. He hurt his team.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Brent. I think you're 100% right. Yeah.
If I don't, I
There's
still,
no question.
that's the thing I don't understand is why didn't he just continue again? Like,
Because he lost his composure in the moment.
100%.
The second time these fools have been grabbing my foot,
Yeah.
I'll let them know what I think of that.
Stomp,
Yeah.
stomp. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's like just let the referees do their job. I mean, I guess he doesn't trust them to do their job, but if you fall, you can you can still do your Draymond antics, flop around. I don't care what you do. Just go on the floor and clearly point to this guy has my foot in his arms. Like that's something, you can put the onus on Sabonis. There's no, didn't mean to rap there, but
nice.
Yeah, make sure that the referees see Sabonis's role in that, and don't make the story about you. But in classic Draymond fashion, he just couldn't let it go and had to take matters into his own hands.
Don't you think Sabonis? Now people are
He's
going
a
to be
vigilante.
mad that I suggest this. Don't you think Sabonis, and this was probably part of the Kings' plan, they were baiting him? Grab his foot. You don't know what he's going to do.
It's interesting. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. And
If they were, I think it's smart if they were doing that.
I think it's risky, especially at that point in the game. I don't agree with Domantas Sabonis' decision. I think we can say that because it worked. I don't know if pulling Draymond, though I guess if they've done it in both games, you could argue maybe it is. I don't believe that, but maybe it is. Maybe it is they're intentionally trying to get into his head and frustrate him. Maybe. I don't think so.
All right, Bernard, you're on Chris and Company, Whitey and Watkins. What do you make of this,
Hey,
Bernard?
good morning.
Hey.
What's up, Bernard?
Morning, John. I was listening to the G-Man last night. He's a great commentator. Question, I'll take it off the air. They were missing a lot of threes. How come they didn't do just drive it to the basket all night and just get the twos instead of the threes?
Oh, thank you for the call. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, we got a little bit of problem with your phone, but we got your question. How come the Kings weren't taking it to the basket last night? As Mike Brown said last night, they want this coaching staff. They want those guys to take those shots. They've been a good shooting team all year long, and sometimes that's the best shot you can get. And when they're not falling, I think for the Kings last night, 9 of 38, they're just a better shooting team than that.
Yeah, you make the point there. Mike Brown, every single time that they have interviewed Mike Brown in those in-game interviews, he's always said, let that thing fly. We want to see you guys shoot. And he said it all season long. He believes that it's a similar mindset of what they have in Golden State. If you have an open look, take it. You are all capable shooters. Even Domantas Sabonis, you saw Sabonis take his mid-range jump shot and not flinch about it this game, because Mike Brown believes that if an open shot is the best shot you're going to get, that's what you run offense for. You run your offense to get an open look.
Yep.
If they're going to give you an open look, take it. Just take it. Don't think twice about it. Let it fly. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't drive the paint. I do think that they've been incredibly effective in the paint, and they definitely have.
They did get to the foul line 29 times.
They did. Yep. And Malik got to the foul line 14 times in game 1 as well. And they got him into foul trouble. The Kings have been going to the hoop. I do think that they could benefit from going even more and driving the lanes, but that's also part of Golden State's game plan. Golden State doesn't want De'Aaron Fox getting to the rim. They don't want Domantas Sabonis anywhere near the hoop, which is why they're having Looney play so far off him. There's a reason why Sacramento hasn't been taking those shots, but they also have to start hitting perimeter shots for Golden State to then have to come out and guard them,
right,
thus leaving the paint open. So it's kind of a push-pull.
I think you made a key point yesterday, and it certainly was the case last night. When they're playing so far off of Sabonis, let's just say you got Looney playing so far off of Sabonis, then if I'm running my DHO for, say, Herter, I know that he's going to get that shot.
Yeah.
Because the guy guarding Sabonis is too far off of him to help off the screen.
Yep.
So I've got that shot, and if they're giving it to me, and I know that I have good shooters, I can't be too discouraged by an off shooting night. Yeah, I'm going to take the ball to the basket, but I still have to take some of those shots because they're good shots.
Exactly. You have to take open looks no matter where they're at. And I mean, not all of the shots have been perimeter. They've taken a good amount of mid range. You mentioned Kevin Herter. He's done a really good job all season long, really, of when his perimeter shot isn't falling. He's done a good job of getting to his floater and getting inside the lane and getting good shots off. I do have a stat right here from Will Z Stats, who's always incredible on the stats. The Kings shot 16 of 20, 80% in the restricted area in game 2. During game 1, the Kings shot 17 of 28, 60% in that restricted area. So definitely there was more of an emphasis, and they were a lot better at finishing at the rim. But that's where Golden State's hole is. Also, you mentioned they don't have really rim protectors. They have Kevon Looney, they have Draymond Green. If the lane is open, they need to take it. But again, like we mentioned, the shots are also open, and if you can get your shooters going, I think that's a lot more beneficial to Sacramento than just getting to the rim.
One of the things that has to be driving the Warriors crazy is that going into this series, they knew that Fox gets to his spot when it's fourth quarter Fox time. And sometimes, as we've seen in game 1, it's a little earlier, but he gets to his spots in the mid-range. And that the Warriors were focusing on that, a point of emphasis. They can't stop it. They haven't come close to stopping it. Sometimes it goes in. Usually it goes in. It doesn't always, but that's all you can hope for. You can't stop him from getting to those spots. And they're trying to figure out new ways to do that before the next game.
No, he's too fast. I mean, it's the problem with De'Aaron Fox guarding De'Aaron Fox is if you give him too much room, he'll just take that mid-range shot. If you play press up on him, he'll just blow right by you and get to the rim.
Coming up, this is something that I don't think gets talked about enough in this series. Small ball ain't really small ball when it's all the ball you got. That's next on Chris and Company, Whiting and Watkins, Sactown Sports, and SactownSports.com.
The Sacramento Kings have taken a commanding 2-0 lead over the Golden State Warriors.
They end up winning it by 8.
Can the best road team in the West go into Chase Center Thursday night and get a win in Game 3 over the defending champs? Our coverage begins with Cattles and Rami live from the Golden One Center at 2 p.m. with tip-off at 7 from San Francisco. On your home for the Kings, Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports' first-round coverage is brought to you by National Garage Door. Doors fit for a king.
I'm Scott Trout, attorney and CEO of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. We help men deal with the life changes triggered by divorce, such as child custody and property division, among many others. But life changes also occur after divorce. These changes can make parts of your existing court order irrelevant or harder to follow. If you feel a modification to your court orders might be necessary, talk to us at Cordell & Cordell. We're a partner men can count on.
500 Capitol Mall, Suite 2060, Sacramento, California, 95814. Cordell.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network. One intriguing player to watch this year would be A's rookie center fielder Esteury Ruiz. Now, he's gotten off to a good start. He reached base safely in 9 of the first 10 games, and he can really impact the game on the bases. In fact, Mark Kotsay calls him the most exciting base stealer the A's have had since Ricky Henderson. Well, last year in the minor leagues, Ruiz stole 85 bases.
You can't host movie night on your phone's hotspot. It's time for real home internet on the Xfinity 10G network. The future starts now. New customers can get 200 megabit Xfinity internet for just $25 a month for 2 years during our Xfinity 10G network launch celebration, now through April 23rd. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
If the sticker price markups that new car dealers are demanding are scaring you away from a brand new vehicle, you can still get the vehicle you want and save thousands at M&S Auto on El Camino right off the Cap City Freeway. M&S Auto has literally hundreds of gently used but beautiful Silverados, Rams, and Tacomas. And if you love muscle cars, they've got Challengers and Mustangs too. M&S Auto Sales. Great cars and trucks and fair deals every day. Come and get yours. msautogroup.com.
Great team, great team. Where's the defense? Defense! Okay, everyone take a break. Greetings, Sacramento. Doug Christie here for the Good Feet store, asking, when is something too good to be true? When it probably is. And had I not experienced it for myself, this spectacular season would definitely qualify as too good to be true. So everyone out there in radio land, continue to enjoy. Something else that could seem too good to be true is Good Feet Arch Supports. But trust me, I've experienced firsthand the comfort, balance, and support possible with Good Feet Arch Supports. And so have countless others who have pretty much given up hope. It's time you felt good again. Take your feet to the Good Feet store for free personalized arch support, fitting, and test walk. Experience for yourself the comfort, balance, and support missing in your life. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and now Vacaville, online at goodfeet.com.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now. What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Uma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Uma?
Yep. Switching to Uma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Uma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at Uma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. We provide a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to determine eligibility. Businesses of all types can qualify, so go to GetRefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Download the Innovation Refunds app or go to GetRefunds.com, GetRefunds.com.
Golfers, the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is redefining the word sale. With $500,000 in Cleveland, Strixon, and Zexio closeout inventory, you're sure to find your next nearly new showroom clubs at discounts up to 75%. From full sets of irons to metalwoods to wedges, visit the Hagen Oaks Garage Sale and find discounts up to 75% on selected clubs right now at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, the #1 choice for golfers everywhere. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway, or online at HagenOaks.com.
There's really nothing better than hitting the open road in a new Honda. And at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, we are proud to provide our best selection to get you there. Buying from Stockton Honda couldn't be smoother. Wherever the road you travel might lead, Stockton Honda is happy to get you there.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own report.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. Your home for the biggest matchups in the NFL. Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines. I'm Chris Roulade with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings now have a 2-0 lead after a 114-106 win over the Warriors last night. Kings and Warriors will have 2 days off and will be back in action in San Francisco for Game 3 on Thursday. You can listen to that game and every Kings playoff game right here on Sactown Sports. Buffalo Bills general manager Brandon Beane announced today that safety Damar Hamlin has been fully cleared to return to football. Hamlin has had a specialist with him while participating at voluntary workouts with the Bills this week. Hamlin has not played a game since he suffered a cardiac arrest against the Cincinnati Bengals on January 2nd. Grizzlies head coach Taylor Jenkins says John Morant has soft tissue bruise in his hand that he sustained in Game 1 against the Lakers. He will be a game-time decision for tonight's Game 2 against the Lakers. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to Chris and Company with Whitey and Watkins.
Hey, this certainly caught my eye a moment ago, trying to get the Bay Area view of this series. Whitey and Watkins here, Chris and Company. And Monty Poole, he was just on with Cattles and Rami, I think last week. And Monty Poole's a long-time, well-respected Bay Area Warriors reporter. And he just posted a piece to NBCSportsBayArea.com, why all signs point to a quick Warrior exit.
Ooh.
Wow. And just here's one of the things he writes. What's stunning, considering Golden State's vast postseason experience, most of it gloriously successful, is the frequency of errors, mental errors, physical errors, schematic errors, judgment errors. The Warriors through the first two games have been more skittish than the Kings, whose roster is deep in players making their postseason debut. So that kind of surprised me. I'm not saying I disagree with it, but already here 2 games in, a very respected Bay Area Warriors reporter saying, yeah, this looks like it's not going to last long.
There is an element of, I'm telling you, that I think the Warriors and specifically Warriors fans are really holding on to a lot of their past to try and dictate their future. And I think that people aren't looking at this Warriors team as a separate entity. And again, like Poole lays it out right there, like you can't turn the ball. This does not look anything like, forget, this doesn't look like a championship.
It's not championship basketball. Remember Stan Van Gundy a few weeks ago against the Pelicans when he was watching Warriors Pelicans. This is unprofessional.
Unprofessional.
It was at times last night too.
It does. And like that's not championship teams. And I know the Warriors know this better than anybody. There's just, again, a certain level of, I want to say respect for the game, but that's too harsh. It's not that they don't respect the game. It's just, you have to treat, just because you are the Warriors, just because you've done this before, you should still carry the same level of detail that got you there. And it doesn't feel like the Warriors are really trying to. We talked a lot about Game 1, winning within the margins, winning the offensive rebounds, winning the turnover battle, winning points in the paint, second chance points, those kind of things. Just the Warriors don't seem concerned with any of that. And it feels like they're just banking on our star power is just going to overwhelm you. And at some point, you're just not going to be able to hang with us. And it's
getting worse. That's a weird
thing. I just think they keep getting hit in the mouth and they're like, all right, you really got me on that one, but just wait for this next one. I'm really going to deliver it back. And the Warriors haven't really delivered a punch that the Kings haven't been able to reply to. Again, like in Game 1, also, it's only been 2 games. It has only been 2 games, but the Warriors' biggest lead is 10. We talked the other day about how, traditionally that's where the Warriors, they go from 10 and then they'll just extend it from there, 15, 20-point lead to the point where you can't come back. They just haven't had those flurries that it feels like they've had in the past that just makes it so insurmountable to overcome.
I think Mike Brown's keen knowledge and insight on the Warriors has just been invaluable in this series. He's been there the last few years. He was there for the Durant years, when they were winning the championships and they were one of the most dominant teams ever. And he's also seen how the Warriors have had to respond to the unique pressures of an aging roster, an expensive roster, right. And he knows where the flaws are, and he knows how to take advantage of them.
Yeah.
And maybe that's one reason why the turnovers are getting worse. There's also this, and I think Mike Brown recognizes this, and I think this gets back to why Alex Len has played so much in this series. Small ball, if you go back to like Don Nelson, one of the inventors of small ball, we can quibble about where it started exactly, but small ball was a thing where, you know what, we're going to go with smaller players, quicker, more outside shooting, spread out your defense, and it has a kind of a change of pace effect on teams. And teams that do it well, it's like the Warriors used to have the lineup of death. They used to call
the
it.
death lineup.
They'd bring in, with Iguodala and a smaller team, and it'd be like, oh man, with the things they would do, especially defensively, because teams weren't ready for it. Well, now the way the Warrior roster is constructed, small ball is all they have.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the option. I heard somebody on the radio talking about, well, when the Warriors go small, it's like, well, they don't have an option.
Yeah, they don't have it. What's them going big look like?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think their tallest player is Patrick Baldwin, who's 6'10",
And a rookie.
who never plays, and I think he's really more of a 3 than a 4.
He is. Yes,
Yeah.
he definitely is. He's definitely a lot more of that Michael Porter Jr. kind of build than anything else. And that's not what the Warriors need in this series.
Yeah, and I think Coach Brown has seen in the past few years, sometimes a certain big will give them problems. And I think he recognized that Alex Len has a chance to hurt them. And in these first 2 games, he hasn't played a lot, but he has hurt them because the Warriors are really limited. Small ball ain't really small ball when it's all the ball you got.
Right, exactly. And you mentioned Alex Len. I'm looking at his plus minus from last night, and I know people don't love plus minus, but he was a +7. That's huge. That's well, how much did the Kings win by? They won by 4-8. So, those Alex Len minutes are huge. And if the Warriors just, they don't have any response, that is what small ball is meant to destroy lineups when Alex Len is in. It's meant to be a counter.
You create mismatches and things.
Yeah. It's not meant to be what you do. It's not meant to be your only go-to option is our thing is small ball. That just means that you're going to have a lot of flaws.
You're limited. Yeah.
You're very, very limited. And, the Warrior, it's not even like, they just don't have an option, like you just pointed out. I mean, their tallest guy is Patrick Baldwin. Who was the plan was Wiseman.
That's exactly right. You're right. Wiseman, the Warrior plan was by now Wiseman would be at least a guy that, well, we know that we can count on him to be in the rotation. And instead, they couldn't even keep him on the roster.
You could argue the Warriors actually lost this series 3 years ago when they made that choice, huh?
Yeah, I guess you could. It hasn't worked out. We have a second, as Kings fans know, you have the second pick and it doesn't work out, tends to leave a mark.
Yeah, exactly. And the Kings got some. Well, I guess the Warriors got GP2 out of theirs, but to me that's the one thing that the Warriors are missing is that Wiseman-like guy, someone who can present some size and still some speed, and they can still play their game while not giving up the size advantage like you see when Alex Len comes in. He might not, last game he didn't necessarily stack up the rebounds, but he definitely got tips. And again, just like his presence near the rim is good enough to deter people from going in there. You're completely right. It just feels like Golden State, that's their only thing is we go small. We are small. What does it do for them? I don't really know because there's not really many advantage. It's not like Kevon Looney. And also it doesn't help that Looney and Draymond both really aren't stretching the floor at all offensively.
Right. So you're reliant on threes, maybe over reliant. And then also I think that contributes to the fact that they commit so many fouls. And some of it is they get reachy and lazy and handsy. But, if you're, say, Kevon Looney and you're playing against bigger guys every stinking night, it's hard to defend without fouling.
Yeah, it's really, really hard. And, that's was the problem with the Warriors yesterday is they could not stop fouling Sabonis and
the Kings
Len.
know that better than any other team. That's my point is that the Kings are uniquely equipped to capitalize on some of these things.
Well, and now they see what happens as well, how beneficial it is when you can get those guys in foul trouble. And now they see you can get them both in foul trouble, Looney and Draymond. And if
Wiggins had 5 last night too.
Did he really end up with 5? He did. He ended up with 5. Wow. Yeah, he did. Wow, that's crazy. Wow.
He must have gotten one late that wasn't really a factor.
Well, and so you see the Warriors' response to that once they found themselves in foul trouble, they were searching for them to go to JaMychal Green and Moses Moody, especially Moses Moody for the extended period of time that he played. I could not believe it. I mean, Moses Moody is somebody who Steve Kerr has been hesitant to throw out in the regular season.
JaMychal Green played 50 seconds.
Played 50 seconds, got 1 foul, and then checked out almost immediately. It was really interesting to see. Yeah, like you're saying, I mean, it's the only ball they have. There is no big ball. There is only small ball for Golden State. And if Looney and Draymond get into foul trouble, they're really, really in trouble because at that point, they don't have anything to turn to on the bench. It's really scary.
You see this sometimes in different sports where you have a game that looks like maybe a matchup and then the perceived underdog, and I know the Kings won more games, but the perceived underdog plays with so much confidence. And a lot of times I think that's because before the series starts, they're so well prepared, and they know, while the fans at large may not know, it's like, no, this is a really good matchup for us. And in so many ways, it's clear now, 2 games in, long ways to go. But this is a really good matchup in a lot of ways for the Kings.
Yeah, and it felt like that before the regular season ended. You know, there was a lot of talk, and it was a popular conversation around Kings fandom to be pick your opponent. There was a lot of, you know, with the way that the West ended, there were so many different possibilities for the Kings. Who they could play in the postseason.
Everybody wanted Dallas.
Everyone wanted Dallas. People said New Orleans. People said one of the LA teams. I was personally somebody who wanted the Warriors for this exact reason. I wanted the matchup. I thought matchup-wise, I thought Sabonis would be a lot more effective, a lot more like what we saw in Game 2 than Game 1. I thought the size and in the matchups just went really well for Sacramento, and it's kind of played out really, really how I expected it to. Just I didn't think it would actually, I shouldn't say expected to, how I thought it might happen. It just is actually happening, surprisingly.
Coming up, how many things does the NBA honestly need to factor in when deciding whether Green will be suspended? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Back in 90 seconds, Chris and company, Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
I had the most old man moment of my life last night. So at one point, I jump up and I'm waving the towel through my back out. I was in bad shape, man.
Wow.
Like that, I missed
during the game.
During the game, I missed almost the entire second quarter. Right,
their best quarter.
Yes, I was flat on my back, dude.
Weird. The Kings had their best quarter when you were there.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
Hello there. My name is Seychelle, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is the punch of flavors that's unlike any other. You get the crispy tenderness of the chicken and that hint of sourness from the pickles. Ta-da!
Hey, I'm Juan, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is you're going to get chicken that's crispy, golden, and juicy. This is the gold standard of chicken sandwiches.
Order the original Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real customers paid for their testimonials.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Sitting at your desk, watch Chris and Company now. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Now, one thing you don't want to watch, appreciate you being with us, but you don't want to watch Chris practice his putting today. I'm not really watching that closely, but I'm hearing
it's been
kick
tough.
rocks.
It's been really, really tough during these breaks. I try, and it's meant to be therapeutic. You know, I'm meant to just putt and not think about the show for a couple seconds.
It sounds like you're struggling today.
Today has been one of my worst putting days in a very, very long time, and you know, it's been frustrating.
That's Doug Christie's putting green, right?
It is Doug Christie's putting green. You know what? That's what I'm gonna blame it on. Doug's obviously a little bit taller than I am, so the putter kind of like goes up mid chest for me. So that's what I'm gonna blame it on. But you know, I'll gladly take a bad putting day if it means that the Kings are up 2-0 in a series.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
It's quite literally unbelievable. Like I actually cannot believe it.
Now, are you still on the fence about what the NBA is likely to do with Draymond after the stomp? While you consider that, here is Clay last night after the game trying to defend Draymond Green's stomping on Domantas Sabonis.
What are you going to do when someone grabs your foot when you're running full speed? Like, that's a dirty – I just – fully grabs your foot and yanks on you. That's not cool, man. I'm not saying what Draymond did was right, but like, you can't just grab somebody's foot when they're taking off in a full sprint. That's not cool. I don't do that. Like that's crazy.
That's kind of that classic case where Draymond does something and he's your teammate, you want to defend him, but is hard.
Yeah, I think Clay had the same realization where he's like, you just can't do that, man. Like, you cannot grab on his foot. Yeah, you know what? You probably can't.
He said, I don't do that. We don't. And then he stopped
He's
himself.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't.
I'm not
do
saying
that.
what Draymond did was right. You had a great point. You pointed out that based on what the Warriors were saying last night, it does sound like they were somewhat prepared with a, hey, when you get asked about this, you know, you can say, well,
what are you supposed to do?
Where he had to do something, right?
He had to put his foot somewhere.
It was a number of Warriors mentioned that. Yeah.
He didn't step on his face. No, you cannot just stomp on somebody anywhere. Again, like that. There's no justifiable reason to stomp on anyone. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Sabonis stomped first. As a matter of fact, it's Domas Sabonis stomped on Draymond's foot and then Draymond stomped on Sabonis' chest. It's not equal. It doesn't matter. You cannot, just because one thing happened, they're two separate actions. I don't know. I feel like I'm crazy here because it's not cool. It is not okay for Draymond to do what he did. And just because Sabonis did anything does not justify Draymond's reaction.
I will also say this, and understand a guy like Clay is in a tough situation there, but if Sabonis grabbed his foot while he was running at full speed, then Sabonis should be like a rodeo cowboy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's like, wow, how did he do that?
Wrangled him over at half court. He said, come on here. No, like, yeah, he was completely, that was also very much misrepresenting the situation because they were tied up. He just grabbed I don't want to say just grabbed his foot. He was not running at full speed. Absolutely not. And the notion that Draymond had nowhere else to put his foot is ridiculous to me because, again, like Chris mentioned earlier, Verlad, I'm not talking in third person,
right.
Like Verlad mentioned earlier, he didn't just step. He could have just stepped on. He could have very much been like, look at the replay. I had nowhere to put my foot. I placed it on his chest. He took the time to lift his foot up and forcefully stomp on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not okay. You can put your foot other places. You didn't have to stomp on his chest.
So if you're Joe Dumars, and I know you're not, you're Chris Watkins. This is Chris and Company. And
yes,
I'm
it is.
Kevin Michael Whitey Gleason.
Oh.
You're Joe Dumars. What are you looking at here? Already stomped on him. Could have injured the guy. That's one thing. He was thrown out of the game. He did have his foot grabbed. We do have a series in which the Warriors are really almost on the edge of the abyss, and we'd like to have the Warriors around. I presume that's the way the league would look at it. There's a lot to factor in here. I don't think also he incited the crowd, right? As I said earlier, I do not think the league is going to suspend him. I think it would be fully justified if they did. I think there's grounds for it, but given the reality of the situation here, I don't think they're gonna, Chris. I would be shocked if they suspend Draymond. Again, I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm saying they won't.
Yeah. So I'm curious what you think. We both heard Carmichael Dave talking this morning about how he feels the aftermath of the stomp is really what would deserve the suspension. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about the aftermath almost being as detrimental to Draymond as the action itself?
That's a slippery slope. I understand that it was, it probably felt a little dangerous, but you're allowed to yell at fans, if I'm not mistaken, whether you should be or not. And that would be tough for the league to justify. He's not going to play. Why? Because he was yelling at people.
Yeah, he was. He was egging them on.
He's done that before too, and there's never been any. Right. I think he did it in Boston last year. I think he did it in Memphis last year. And I'm not saying it's great. I think it's a terrible idea.
It's
and
a bad
I don't think
idea
it helps him or his team. But I don't think that alone is grounds for suspension.
Yeah, I agree.
It would really be he could have incited the crowd. Yes. Nothing happened, but something could have.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think the aftermath was definitely over the top. It was definitely ridiculous. It was definitely uncalled for and not needed. But I have a tough time thinking that the antics immediately following will have anything to do with the suspension itself, which, I know all of the egging on of the crowd probably really, really set off a lot of Kings fans. And that's probably why I think we're seeing such a visceral reaction as well, is because people felt like Draymond is an element of he's asking for it. He doesn't understand how bad what he did was, as Sabonis is quite literally laying back, on his back in the paint. Draymond is acting like Hulk Hogan at center stage. But I agree with you. I think I don't really think that that's going to play much of an effect. I think it should just be also determined by the single action. It shouldn't be the totality of everything in the build-up.
I don't think there's enough there.
Yeah.
There is enough there as far as the stomp.
Yeah.
But I think
if he would have gone into the stand, or if he would have gone on the scores table or something like that, for sure. But he even said it after the game, like that was all just fun. That was him playing a character. That was him trying to get a rise out of the crowd, and he absolutely got it.
I think Draymond gets too much credit sometimes. He gets credit for he gets credit for
for
you
sure.
see what he's doing.
Yeah.
No, he lost his composure.
Yeah.
If you know what you're doing, then there's kind of a concerted act, what's the word? A premeditated notion of I'm going to do this and they're going to react this way.
Yeah.
Well, there was nothing premeditated on. You did what to me? Oh, there you go. Oh, I got thrown out of the game. That doesn't help your team.
Not at all. And that's another thing where it's from a Golden State perspective. I know they're all more trying to figure out will Draymond be suspended? Will he not be suspended? I think there needs to be a conversation for Golden State, especially. Well, I know Draymond has the option. It's not a team option, but how much longer do we want to continue to put up with this, especially as we're seeing the Warriors kind of on the ropes a little bit here, not even talking about in this series, but clearly this is a different phase of the Golden State run. This is not the team of last year, like I've mentioned. Can they continue to deal with Draymond's antics and all of his doing podcasts after a loss in game one? Do they want to deal with that while still going through this period? Or at some point, are they willing to cut ties and be like, I know Draymond's been great for us for his career. He's won us 4 championships, but at this point, we just can't survive those kind of things, you know, as a team, as an organization.
You brought up a fascinating point on that before the show, which I'll get to in just a moment. First, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Eric joins us on Chris and Company, Sactown Sports. How are you, Eric?
Hey, good afternoon, gentlemen.
What's up, Eric?
I hear a little.
No, you're good.
We're good.
Am I hearing an echo?
No, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, good to meet you, Chris. I met you the other night at the Threesome show.
Oh, what's up, Eric?
Yeah. I did go to the game last night, and I have my own opinions because I was there. But I want to see what I didn't hear the part. Did you guys obviously mention that Adam Silver was in the building?
Yes.
And do you think that him being in person will have any part on a possible suspension?
Thank you. It's a great question. He may have some input, but it's really Joe Dumars. So I don't think it's necessarily the commissioner who's making that decision. It's not going to help, but ultimately I don't think the NBA is going to act there.
Yeah. I don't,
because they don't want to.
Yeah. I don't necessarily think Adam Silver seeing it with his own eyes will necessarily impact the decision. I think that he'll probably I'm sure he'll give his 2 cents on it, but I don't think that it will have any.
You would think so, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
You made a great point. And I think you saw it somewhere about if Draymond is suspended and they lose,
yes,
then
I saw
this
on
whole
Reddit.
Season will be blamed. It'll be his fault. It'll all be blamed on him.
It's kind of insane to think of it that way, but it is kind of a full circle moment. If this is the beginning of the end for this Golden State run this season, is the season started with Draymond causing way too much controversy off the floor with the Jordan Poole situation with the punch, and it might end with Draymond Green potentially ending their season because, again, he just couldn't control his emotions in the moment. And again, like this could be really, really detrimental especially if he does get suspended. This could be really, really detrimental for the Warriors season. And it could just taint the entire season. I mean, how long you definitely have a better gauge of this. How long were people talking about, is this a hangover? Is this leftover?
They're still talking about it.
Still to this day, even people bring it up, and it's just an unnecessary headache. And that's exactly what I'm talking about when I say I don't know if Golden State is going to want to continue to deal with this off the floor stuff from Draymond Green, even though it's not a John Morant situation. It's definitely not touching anything like that. It's still very, very, very much a distraction, especially for a team that has championship aspirations.
From the stomper to the stompy, Sabonis was more decisive in game 2, and he paid a very high price for it. That's next on Chris and Company. Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings have taken a commanding 2-0 lead over the Golden State Warriors.
They end up winning it by 8.
Can the best road team in the West go into Chase Center Thursday night and get a win in Game 3 over the defending champs? Our coverage begins with Cattles and Rami live from the Golden One Center at 2 p.m. with tip-off at 7 from San Francisco. On your home for the Kings, Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports first round coverage is brought to you by National Garage Door. Doors fit for a king.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. We're looking at a partly cloudy day today for this Tuesday, with temperatures a bit cooler than yesterday. Highs will only top out in the low 60s, and those overnight lows tonight will drop off into the upper 30s to low 40s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Treat yourself to a new car in the new year. Shop Folsom Lake Kia for your favorite Kia model. Low interest rates, low payments, even zero down deals with approved credit. Over 20 years right here in Sacramento. That's Folsom Lake Kia.
ACR Solar and Home Services is here to help you, just like they helped me. Jason Ross here, and ACR did a great job for my family, bringing their impeccable reputation and great workmanship to keep my family covered with a brand new roof. Now we're comfortable and dry during Sacramento's rainy season, knowing our home's structural integrity is protected. Our value is increased, and the home itself, well, it's looking and functioning at its best. The proof, it's in our roof. Now, you could get this same quality experience with ACR Solar and Home Services. Just go to acrsolar.com now to sign up for a free estimate and see all that they have to offer, not only to protect your home and family during the cold and wet Sacramento weather, but also including premium made-in-the-USA solar electric systems. That's acrsolar.com. ACR Solar and Home Services is bringing us all the highest quality, highest value, and integrity since 1979. Go to acrsolar.com. That's acrsolar.com.
Jiffy Lube's Country in the Park, Northern California's biggest country music festival of the year, is back May 5th and 6th at Cal Expo, starring Lady A, Chris Young, Brett Eldridge, and so many more. Plus, a Boots Boot and Line Dance Saloon, interactive lounges, and Sacramento's best food trucks. Weekend passes start at just $80. Tickets are on sale now at SactownSports.com. Country in the Park, brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort, Hanley's Western Wear, and Quick Clack Car Wash.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Yes, we do have availability. Those dates for how many guests?
Andrea's Boutique Hotel is the destination to tie the knot.
Oh, you want the whole property?
She needs an assistant to catch the bookings bouquets.
249 guests, huh? Oh, and 3 dogs.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Near the banks of the Sacramento River, Perry Dye of the famous Dye family of golf architects designed Bartley Kavanaugh Golf Course as Sacramento's #1 course for fun. Dye's design and mixture of holes assures players of a fun-filled day with friends. Bartley Kavanaugh's moderately sized greens and generous fairway landing areas make for an affordable and fun round of golf. After golf, relax on the outdoor veranda with a cold beverage or a tasty meal. For tee times, visit bartleykavanagh.com. It's Sacramento's #1 course for fun.
Growing a business brings pressure. Staying compliant and retaining top talent in challenging times. You feel stretched thin. Fortunately, there's Insperity. They put over 35 years of HR service and technology to work, offering my employees competitive benefit options while lightening my HR load. Engaged people empowered to be their best means overcoming obstacles. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
Get to Acura of Stockton, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. And right now, lease a new Acura TLX, MDX, or Integra with low lease rates available. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlato with your Sactown Sports headlines. The Sacramento Kings now have a 2-game-0 lead after a 114-106 win over the Warriors last night. Kings and Warriors will have 2 days off and will be back in action in San Francisco for Game 3 on Thursday. You can listen to that game and every Kings playoff game right here on Sactown Sports. Buffalo Bills general manager Brandon Beane announced today that safety Damar Hamlin has been fully cleared to return to football. Hamlin has had a specialist with him while participating at voluntary workouts of the Bills this week. Hamlin has not played a game since he suffered a cardiac arrest against the Cincinnati Bengals on January 2nd. Grizzlies head coach Taylor Jenkins says John Morant has a soft tissue bruise in his hand that he sustained in Game 1 against the Lakers. It will be a game-time decision for tonight's Game 2 against LA. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to Chris and company with Whitey and Watkins.
Some interesting thoughts on the YouTube chat on Draymond Green, suspended last night, kicked out of the game. Flagrant 2 for stomping on Sabonis. Yeah, I apologize. Kings, of course, seal the deal. Sam Mitchell made an interesting point on NBA TV. Sam Mitchell says, during that 7-minute delay when they were reviewing that, De'Aaron Fox had a chance to catch his breath. And then he dominated.
Not Domantas Sabonis, though.
No. Eventually he did, but it took a lot longer.
I noticed he also missed those 2 free throws that he had to take. I was like, that's tough. He's a poor guy, could probably, barely, he was down for a good amount of time. He could barely breathe and had to take those 2 free throws, and they were not close. I think he barely front rimmed that second one.
Yeah, the second one barely got there. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. We'll wait and see, of course, what the league decides to do with Draymond Green, and I just don't think the league wants to suspend him. I believe a suspension would certainly be justified. I don't think they're going there, but we will see. Anyway, on the YouTube chat, we have Beamtown says Dre's drama is good for ratings.
Definitely.
Yeah. From Linda Harold, Draymond is an embarrassment to the Warriors. And Enforcer 2K9 says, you have to crack down on Draymond and his antics. Enough is enough. Dude will never change unless there's consequences for his actions. Well, at this point, I don't think he's changing.
No, he's a little far into this whole bit to be just all of a sudden shifting and then being like Harrison Barnes tomorrow. Just super tightened up. Draymond has to be on this list of players that you like to have on your team, but as the opposing team, you wouldn't want. Draymond's now kind of creeped into that. I don't think anyone wants. I don't think people on the team want him, and I'm not sure.
Weren't you the one that wanted Draymond on the team?
I guess we won't go there today. He's already struggling with his putting.
Let's not put let's not throw accusations out there. I may have suggested that the Kings take a look at possibly thinking about bringing in Draymond Green. Okay, don't put words in my mouth. Yeah, no, I definitely did say that a couple days ago. And I regret it. Yeah, so what? I'm man enough to come on this here radio station and say I might have been way off on that. Draymond on the floor hasn't quite looked as sharp as what I thought he would look. That's concerning. The off the floor stuff, pretty concerning as well. I think him and Domantas Sabonis would probably have to have a nice little kumbaya conversation before Draymond were to join, and then the fans, that would be a tough sell to the fans after last night. There was a huge Draymond, you suck chant.
Isn't that what Draymond does though? Like,
I guess
at some point it's just like,
I think I'm not saying Draymond should come here. I don't think he would want to. I don't think the Kings would want him. But as far as a player who's hated by a fan base going to that team eventually, if Richard Sherman could end up being embraced by 49er fans, then I'll buy anything.
That's a fantastic point, Whitey, because you're right. There was a if not even more, probably anger towards Richard Sherman and the 49er fans, especially after the Crabtree incident. That is a very good point. That's true. And winning cures all. And, nobody's going to hate their own guy like that.
But that ain't going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Definitely. I saw Rich Paul was in the building. He's probably going to go join the guys over in LA and LeBron and AD if I had to guess.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Let's talk to Lester. Lester, thanks for hanging on with Whitey and Watkins, Chris and company. What's up?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm happy to see this series and how intense it is and how physical it is. I'm glad the Kings have turned it around with their athleticism and their bench. But Draymond Green, that guy, he gets away with so much stuff, extracurricular activities constantly. By all rights, I don't know how many technicals you could throw at him each game. He's jaw-jacking all game long to the refs, unsportsmanlike conduct to the other opposing players, physical play, cheap shots all the way around. He should get suspended, like you said, Whitey. By all rights, he should get suspended for that for at least one game. But they won't. You know how it is. The league won't do that. They like the drama. They like the extra ratings. They like the extra conversation. But I think the Warriors, to keep on frustrated, that's what happens. Like Sabonis, he won't back down from Draymond Green. He's younger. He's more athletic. He's just as physical. So that's what happens with Draymond. When you're just as physical and better than him, he implodes. So you could get him, Len, and also get Trey Lyles in there to frustrate him and get him off his game. Oh, he'll blow up the next couple of games as well because he'll implode.
Thank you, Lester, and thanks for listening. Prediction, I know I've said this before, and I'm not trying to, rain on anybody's parade. Sabonis is going to be in foul trouble in the next game. I would bet money on it.
Yeah.
It's the nature of the NBA
One
playoffs.
of these two games. If it's not Thursday, it'll be Sunday for sure. Definitely one of these games in Chase. They're going to get the benefit of the whistle, and
that's home court advantage now in the NBA.
And
that's
Sabonis
just part
plays,
of it in the playoffs.
Yeah, we talked about it. Sabonis plays a really, really physical game. One of those guys that you can either call every play a foul on him or no fouls on him. And you would have to guess that at Chase Center, he's probably going to get the benefit of the whistle.
Yes,
or not get the benefit of the whistle. I should say.
Right. So hope I'm wrong, but I would be surprised if we don't see some of that. Back to Draymond for just a moment. As far as his value to the Warriors, with everything that he does, he's worth it as long as they are winning.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 2019, the year they lost to Toronto, or right around there. Steve Kerr was mic'd, and he was caught on audio, and he didn't want this to be made public, but he said, "I'm so tired of Draymond's bleep." Remember that? Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, but then. Well, why do they put up with it? Because he gives them things they need to win championships.
Exactly. He plays defense at an elite level.
But if this team gets to a point where even with all that, they're getting bounced in the first round, then the welcome wagon ain't going from Warrior ownership to Draymond Green's house anymore. I know he has the option for next year, but that's why they put up with it. He helps them win.
Exactly. At what point does Draymond kind of fall into that DeMarcus Cousins category where it's just like, look, dude, again, I made the Tim Tebow comparison the other day. he fits into that mold of you're just too big of a distraction for the value, the production that you give us. We can find somebody who gives us similar production and just a whole lot less of a headache. And
less money.
Less money, exactly. $27 million, if I'm not mistaken, he can opt into next season. There's just not a lot of front offices who will sign up for the headache and everything that comes along with Draymond Green unless they're really desperate, like the Lakers would be. The Lakers are the exact type of team who would love to have the star power of Draymond Green and bring all of the things that he brings. Sacramento, I think my argument for that was merely just the on the floor thing. If you really, the Kings defense
you probably
was
should
really
go back to that.
You
probably
right.
should just hope that everyone forgets about that.
Totally right. Let's actually just cut that. Do you feel like Draymond does? The caller mentioned there. Do you think Draymond gets? He does. He gets a little bit more leeway than most people
definitely does, especially when he already has one technical.
Yes,
last night was different because it's like that's a 2, you're out. Yeah. When he has one technical, you can see he knows they don't want to throw me out of this game.
Throw him out, and it's the same logic for why they won't suspend him. Probably it's you don't. We both have an understanding. Draymond and officiating have an understanding that the NBA doesn't want
Right.
me out of this game no
Right.
matter what. And so
Yeah.
he does play that line. He plays those gray
Whereas
areas.
I think Jeff Van Gundy's made the point, like if Kyle Anderson says, hey, I don't think that was a foul, you're gone.
Boom. Boom. 2 of them. Right to you. Yeah, it's really true. And it's interesting how that works. It's like almost like you're rewarded, you're benefited from being constantly disruptive, as opposed to, like you're saying, Kyle Anderson, someone who's maybe not going to say anything, but one expletive, one explosion might be like, whoa, that guy's out of line. Tee him up.
Yeah, more on Sabonis coming up, including how the stomp, to me, that wasn't even the most painful blow he endured last night. And where do the Warriors and Kings go from here? A early look at some Game 3 adjustments are coming up on Chris and Company, Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
It's Cattles and Rami.
Simone said, quote, Rami's sending me to go get coffee. Simone is misrepresenting me, which I expect from Nick. She said she had to get something from her car. I don't know where her car is, so I said, are you going towards Starbucks? She said, no, but I can get you something. Is that me ordering Simone around, treating her like
I don't
like
believe
an
any of this.
intern?
Enough of his nonsense.
Rami's upset. Rami doesn't appreciate being misrepresented.
Cattles and Rami, weekday afternoons from 2 to 6 on Sactown Sports.
At Lowe's, we're always bringing pros more ways to save on the brands you trust. Right now, buy a DeWalt 20-volt Power Stack Max 2-pack battery for $199. Get a select DeWalt Bear tool free with savings starting at $139. Plus, you'll always save big on job lot quantities when buying select building supplies in bulk. Because Lowe's knows savings, Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Lowe's reserves the right to limit quantities. Discount taken at time of purchase. Battery and charger not included with free items. Valid 5-3.
Quick Pack Car Wash is a proud partner of the Sacramento Kings and congratulates them on making the playoffs. To celebrate, Quick Pack is giving you the chance to win a free year of car washes. That's right. Get your ride washed anytime you want for an entire year for free. Just text KHTK to 41284. That's KHTK to 41284 for your chance to win. Quick Pack Car Wash, where you can wash your car all you want with an unlimited membership and enjoy fast service in under 3 minutes.
Warehouse Paint is where the local pros go for all of their paint project needs. Enjoy same-day turnarounds, same-day color matching, color consultation services, and free job site deliveries. With a large in-stock selection of PPG and Benjamin Moore paints and stains, and an expert sales team that is here to help, Warehouse Paint has exactly what you need to complete your next project. Visit warehousepaint.com to find a store near you. That's warehousepaint.com.
There's really nothing better than hitting the open road in a new Honda. And at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, we are proud to provide our best selection to get you there. Buying from Stockton Honda couldn't be smoother. Wherever the road you travel might lead, Stockton Honda is happy to get you there.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own one report.
Hey, Sacramento, while you're watching the playoffs, don't get stuck on the bench in a warm house. Fox Family Heating and Air can get you cooling fast with most parts backed by a lifetime warranty.
Fox Family Heating and Air.
The clock is ticking. Get off the bench and head down to Fastener's Tool Outlet, where you'll find the lowest prices on DeWalt power tools and much more. Why pay more at a big box store? Get a triple-double at Fastener's Tool Outlet with weekly and monthly specials, including up to 50% off select hand tools, accessories, power tools, and fasteners. Whether you're looking for a DeWalt bag, a DeWalt impact driver, or the newest DeWalt tools at the lowest prices, Fastener's Tool Outlet has the tools you need to do the job. Make a slam dunk with Fastener's Tool Outlet, 6701 Power Inn Road, or on the web at fastenersinc.net.
It's time. Time to empty your closets, junk drawers, and garage of all your old, unused tech. It's time to bag those batteries that bit the dust. Time to tell that old calculator its days are numbered. Time to tell your old hard drive a hard truth. It's time to go. It's time to recycle it all at Staples for free. Plus, this weekend, you save 15% on your purchase of $30 at Staples when you recycle that tech junk for Earth Day. Offer valid 4/22 and 4/23. Limit 1 reward per month. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/recycling for details.
Lead generation is one of the most important aspects of any marketing campaign. Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products or services to them. Go to aimyourdigital.com today. aimyourdigital.com.
Sitting at your desk, watch Chris and Company now. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Montes Sabonis got stomped on last night. I was a little scared there, seeing him writhing around. I don't know that was the most painful blow he absorbed in the course of that game.
No.
The knee to the jaw, to me, my jaw still clicks. I don't know if you can hear it. I don't want to start doing it because I got hit baseball once bouncing up there, and I think I broke my jaw and didn't do anything about it. So anyway, when he's flexing that jaw, like
I saw him doing that.
Man, and then what happened to him? And it was totally inadvertent. He ended up hitting like the side of Curry's knee, I think, with his jaw.
Yeah,
that hurts. And
that
then
hurts.
He took the charge, which ended up being called a block because of his heel. Took a blow there.
There was also a play where him and Jordan Poole were scrambling for a loose ball, and he kind of pulls Jordan Poole down and kind of like chops his legs like a cut block.
He grabbed his foot on one play. When he scored?
Yeah, grabbed
his foot,
ankle. Then he grabbed his knee, and then he just kind of like tucked his whole leg into his body. I don't know how.
Also, he's got a thumb injury that he's going to need surgery with at the end of the season.
Oh, it's just a fractured
that
thumb.
whole thing where his thumb has no attachment to his hand. That whole thing is also a factor. I was going to say, Whitey, I don't know how much Sabonis you've watched this year, but this is every day for him. I don't know how he does it. I don't know if he's really Wolverine.
Human? Oh yeah.
Or if
Bionic
what's
or something.
going on, because he gets beat up every single game. I mean, for sure. Yesterday was a little.
That's what I thought.
That was definitely a step further than traditional, especially just with the increased physicality of the game in total. But man, Sabonis just gets beat up every single game, and like I said, he's one of those guys who could probably get 15 more calls in his favor. He could also probably get 15 more fouls under his name, because he just plays so physical all the time that when you play that physical, there's a certain amount of things that are going to happen. You're going to get hit. You're going to get scratched. And he comes every single game and, plays 40 minutes a night. No problem.
I know that when Monk had the big game Saturday, Monk and Fox, they talked about how they wanted to come here, how Monk wanted to come here with his buddy De'Aaron, and they wanted to help establish a new culture. And they've done a great job of that. The way Monk is so intense and the way he's played in these playoffs has been remarkable. But one of the things that really helps you establish a culture is when you have clearly one of your best players in Sabonis, and he's playing through all these things.
Everything.
When he gets hurt, he finds a way to keep playing, and he plays through the whole year with he had the avulsion fracture in his thumb.
Yeah.
And it's hard for a guy who's, further down the pecking order to look at that and say, well, I got a little tweak in my hammy. I don't know if I'm going to go. Well, he's playing with a broken thumb. He's playing through getting stomped on last night. It definitely sets a tone for everybody else.
Exactly. He's a lead by example kind of guy, and the Kings don't have a lot of vocal leaders on this team. Malik's probably one of them, but the De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis are definitely more. Their leadership style is more watch as I do and follow along, and that's been Sabonis's big thing, is just how much of an Iron Man he is. He takes those punches. He sometimes quite literally takes those punches every single game and still shows up, still plays 40 minutes, doesn't really complain to refs all too much, for somebody who takes as much contact as he does.
And Chris, how big was it that he had a good game last night after game one?
Yes, a huge bounce back after game one where, he looked like a shell of himself. And then for him to co-lead the team in points, he finished with 9 rebounds, didn't quite get the normal amount of assists.
You know why? I was talking to Jerry about this yesterday. We're doing the Old Fashioned 3 podcast, Jerry Reynolds and the Phantom, and Jerry's saying, it's hard to get assists when guys aren't making shots.
It's a great point, Jerry. That is an absolutely fantastic
I can make the
point.
greatest pass in the history of basketball to you, but if you don't put it in, I don't get a stinking assist.
Yeah, the Kings shot 23% from 3. You're not going to get a whole ton of assists in general. Still finished with 22 as a team, but yeah, Jerry's completely right. Some of that, a lot of it is he gets a lot of easy assists with those dump offs and the cutters, but you're completely right, Jerry. Like people are not doing him any favors with just the amount of missed shots.
4 is a nice number, but it's usually higher for him.
It's usually
when they're
within
9 for
6,
38
7
beyond the arc. It's hard to pick up some of those assists.
Really, really tough. And so, Sabonis is still doing a great job of, while he's not getting those direct assists, still finding the right guys. They're still running their offense through them, still running those DHOs. And, just because the cutter isn't open doesn't mean that they've stopped cutting, and that's huge too. A lot of the times people cut, when you cut, you expect to see the ball. It's like a reward for cutting. It's not meant to be something that you're just doing all the time. And so for them to continually it's not about the result. It's about the process. I love to see it from Sacramento. And, eventually, hopefully those assists will come as Golden State shifts their game plan to try and stop other things. They might have to let some other things go by the wayside.
As you're talking there about Coach Brown, or when you're talking about cutting, I'm reminded of one of the most interesting things that Coach Brown says about the offense. He said it again last night. He says, we want to play with pace even in the half court, because we tend to think of pace as get the rebound, get it out and run.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about pace in the half court. What does that mean? Player movement, ball movement.
Exactly.
You just got to keep moving because you're a lot harder to guard.
Exactly. It's a lot tougher to guard. And, a lot of teams, it's also just something that not a lot of NBA teams do. We're fortunately seeing two of the best teams that do it, but a lot of teams, it makes it really hard on the defense. Defenses aren't used to guarding as a collective group. Mike Brown likes to talk about his defensive unit being on a string together. That's required when there's as much movement as the Kings and the Warriors play with. When you're playing against the team that runs a lot of ISO ball, that's more about who do you match up on him? How do you send the help? And what do you do to recover from the help? With how the Kings and the Warriors move, it's all communication. It's everybody having to stay on the same line and know what the responsibility is. And the Kings have done incredible. Again, we cannot praise their defense enough.
It almost literally,
incredible.
We say that, it's unbelievable.
No.
But given what I thought of this defense and seeing the way they're playing, it's hard to believe that that's the same team.
It is actually, they look like completely different team. And again, like if the Kings would have played this way all season long, again, who knows how sustainable that would be just with the amount of energy that they're exerting. But the Kings look like a 55-60 win team with the way that they're playing defense out there.
I think if they'd played every game against the Warriors, they might look like this. I think a lot of this is being so well prepared for the Warrior offense.
I completely agree. And it's I don't know what to think of it, that it took the Kings' greatest opponent for them to finally bring this out of them. I'm just thankful that we finally see it. And I think that's a very interesting point, especially as if the Kings do continue along in the playoffs, do they give each opponent the same level of respect that I think that they're giving Golden State?
Yeah, I'm sure they'll give them the proper level of respect, but they won't have the insight.
Right. That's also true.
That Coach Brown has, or maybe they will. We'll see. Probably not to the level that he has on the Warriors. Interesting comment for you on the YouTube chat. Dwayne Baker heard you saying something about Draymond's the type of guy that you love him if he's on your team, but you hate him if he's on another team. And Dwayne Baker wants to know who else is in that boat. And he asked Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks for sure. He's first ballot right there. Dylan Brooks for sure. Draymond, obviously.
Let us know when you.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a really good one. I'll have to think of a first team
comment of the day.
First team, all not on my team. First team, all not on my team.
Love him as a teammate, hate him as a foe.
Yes, hate him as a foe. Yeah, that's definitely a good one. And it's honestly because there's so many guys I think that come to mind. DeMarcus Cousins is probably one of those guys. I'll try and think of active players, but that's a good one. I like that. That's definitely comment of the day nominee. I'll have to write that down during the break.
Maybe you can give us first team and maybe even second team.
Maybe even second team. I know.
You're gonna be busy.
Grayson Allen. Ooh, that's Chris Verlaud. That is a great one. Grayson Allen.
Me personally, I wouldn't want him on my team either, but you're right.
Honestly, I don't think a lot of people would want Grayson Allen on their team at all because, he's like tripping people. That's pretty uncool.
Would Jimmy Butler be one of those guys too?
I don't know. I like Jimmy Butler, so I guess I don't feel that way. Was Draymond the one that Kelly Olynyk was the one who dislocated Kevin Love's shoulder, right? In that series where he kind of like held on to his arm and kind of forcefully. Maybe Olynyk. Patrick Beverley's another great shout. That's probably our point guard. Wow, we have a really, really annoying team here.
We got time.
Yeah, I'll think about it. I'll think about it.
Yeah, and as promised, coming up, we'll look ahead to Game 3. Some of the adjustments. One thing in particular that the Warriors are going to continue with. How do the Kings counter as we continue here? It's Chris and Company, White and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings have taken a commanding 2-0 lead over the Golden State Warriors.
They end up winning it by 8.
Can the best road team in the West go into Chase Center Thursday night and get a win in Game 3 over the defending champs? Our coverage begins with Cattles and Rami live from the Golden One Center at 2 p.m. with tip-off at 7 from San Francisco on your home for the Kings, Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports first round coverage is brought to you by National Garage Door. Doors fit for a king.
I'm Scott Trout, attorney and CEO of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. We help men deal with the life changes triggered by divorce, such as child custody and property division, among many others. But life changes also occur after divorce. These changes can make parts of your existing court order irrelevant or harder to follow. If you feel a modification to your court orders might be necessary, talk to us at Cordell & Cordell. We're a partner men can count on.
500 Capitol Mall, Suite 2060, Sacramento, California, 95814. Cordell.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khdk.com.
Selling your home can be stressful. Scott Marsh here to tell you about Bridgehaven Homes. They are a local home buying company that offers homeowners an easier way to sell their home. Let Shane and his team at bridgehavenhomes.com take all that stress away. Bridgehaven Homes gives you an all-cash offer for your home, no matter what the condition, within 24 hours. You pick the date you wish to close and sell on your terms. No repairs, no showings, no realtor commissions. Go to bridgehavenhomes.com. That's bridgehavenhomes.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-330-1991. That's 1-800-330-1991. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-330-1991. SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah. Your one-stop Honda shop.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Hey, Scott, I haven't seen you in over a year. You look great.
Good to see you, too. Yeah, I'm feeling good and have a new job.
No, there's something different about the way you look.
To be honest, a few months ago, I had an amazing robotic hair transplant procedure with Dr. Singh at Excel Medicine. It's called the artist procedure.
No way. Your hair looks completely natural, and you don't even have a scar. How did they do that?
Dude, the artist system is amazing. I have this fantastic hairline, and I'm happy with my results. He could probably help you, too, buddy.
Using the artist procedure, Dr. Singh can target and harvest healthy hair follicles with micron-level accuracy from the back of your head and transplant them where you need it. The procedure is painless, and you'll be back doing your regular activities in a couple of days. Ask Dr. Singh at Excel Medicine about the artist procedure. Call today, 916-932-4470. That's 932-4470 for a complimentary in-person or Zoom consultation, or on the web at excelmedicine.com. That's EXCEL medicine.com. See what the artist procedure can do for you.
These are actors and not real patients.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
KHTK AM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your local sports leader in the 916. This is Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Lott with your Sactown Sports headlines. The Sacramento Kings now have a 2-0 lead after a 114-106 win over the Warriors last night. The Kings and Warriors will have 2 days off and will be back in action in San Francisco for Game 3. You can listen to Thursday's game and every Kings playoff game right here on Sactown Sports. Buffalo Bills general manager Brandon Beane announced today that safety DeMar Hamlin has been fully cleared to return to football. Hamlin has had a specialist with him while participating at voluntary workouts with the Bills this week. Hamlin has not played a game since he suffered a cardiac arrest against the Cincinnati Bengals on January 2nd. Grizzlies head coach Taylor Jenkins says John Morant has a soft tissue bruise in his hand that he sustained in Game 1 against the Lakers. He will be a game-time decision for tonight's Game 2 against LA. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to Chris and company with Whitey and Watkins.
Every time I see a replay of the stomp, it looks worse. Every time I see it, it looks more egregious.
It just looks like he puts more and more effort every time you watch it. You're like, he really did wind up for that one.
Did you see Damian Lillard's defense of Draymond stomp?
Very,
on
very
Twitter?
strange. Did you see Colin Cowherd's defense of Draymond Green, which is
Did not.
very strange because I know if I'm not mistaken, actually, I shouldn't say I know. I'm pretty confident that Draymond's podcast is on Colin Cowherd's network, like his podcast network, if I'm not mistaken, is The Volume, which is where Draymond hosts his. Colin Cowherd yesterday tweeted this out. This league has always given the Kings the whistle. Frustrating for those of us that just want a fair game. #weak T.
That's just
what? I thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was a joke.
Whether it's supposed to be or not, it is.
He said this league has always given Kings the whistle. Yeah. He's talking about the same Kings team that hasn't been in the playoffs in 16 years. And the last time they were in the, well, not the last time, but the last run ended directly because of said whistle.
Are you sure it's not a joke? I mean, you're right. The more you talk about it.
I'm not 100% positive. I mean, you can't read tone in tweets, but the things point into it. And I mean, Colin is definitely tweeting. He light the beam. Feels like an egregious waste of energy. Hopefully, Gavin Newsom looks into it. I think he's either just trolling us or he's
right. I think that's what's going on.
I don't know. Well, Colin, you picked a fight, and I don't think you want any part of Kings fans, especially on social media. That tweet has 1 million views.
Damian Lillard on Twitter. Take foul on Sabonis.
Take foul.
Yeah, it's a take foul on Sabonis.
The take foul.
I don't think
transition take foul.
I didn't think Dre tried to step down. That's just how his balance ended up.
No, he didn't try and step. He tried to stomp.
And, palms out emoji. That's just
well, we know Damian Lillard
joke too.
Lillard's an Oakland guy, so he's probably rooting for the Warriors.
Yeah, he and Dre are tight, but still
questionable. Very questionable how anyone can look at that and kind of come to the conclusion that the Kings are getting the benefit of the whistle. That's crazy. Don't. Yeah, I disagree with Mr. Cowherd and with Mr. Lillard on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I came up with a list of
awesome.
Of the all you want them on your team, not on
love them if they're on your team, hate them if they're on another team.
Yes, you described that so much better than I do.
Dwayne Baker was asking because you brought up Draymond is one of those guys.
Yes,
and you
DeMarcus
mentioned
is probably Dylan Brooks.
So is this first team?
This is first team. We might have to go positionless here because honestly, there's a lot, not too many dislikable centers. I think we came up with a couple, but we'll see.
By the way, real quick before you get to that,
please.
I was looking for nominees for your team, and you didn't need any help. But I was looking at who has the most technicals this year in the NBA. Draymond is like second, and Jordan Poole is sixth.
Ooh.
So the Warriors actually have two guys for most technicals in the top 6. I think Draymond had 17, and maybe that needs to be updated. Poole had 14.
Tells you a lot, huh? Tells you that they
grumpy
probably need to stop complaining to officials a little bit there. It seems like they have some sort of, I don't know. They feel like the world's out to get them when they're the ones who are the champions. So strange.
I think Fox had double figures as
he
well.
He did, yeah. Fox gets his handful of techs every year. He's a little spicy guy. I have for this first team, I've got Patrick Beverley. I've got Dylan Brooks. I've got Draymond Green.
Okay.
Those I think are locks.
Yep.
Those are
unanimous
first team
selections.
Those are first ballot Hall of Fame. You like them on your team, you hate them when you go against them. I've got Luka Doncic on there. I think for the referee antics, for his complaining, also just style of play. I think a lot of people just don't like the lack of ball movement from Luka.
Some people may disagree with that. I would not.
Yes.
I'm on board.
Yes. At center gets a little bit confusing here. You threw out a couple ones. How do you feel about Rudy Gobert? The thing is, I don't know if his teammates like him either.
Right.
I don't know if you enjoy having him on your team, which is kind of the first
Nobody
part
likes
of this.
you on their team. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't quite know if he quite fits there. So maybe we'll leave that.
He's a rare case. He may be more disliked by his teamates
than
he is by
players
on other teams.
Find some other home for him, and then everyone eventually will get to that point. I have other, I guess, there's just so many others that you could throw in this second team. To me, those are like, those guys deserve to be in first team. The rest of them, can be sprinkled anywhere. Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, I think rubs a lot of people the wrong way. Marcus Smart. How do you feel about Steph Curry? I'm not a big Steph Curry guy. I think, for a lot, he showboats a lot. I think people, it's part of the viralness of Steph. He likes to hit threes and then dance on your home court and, throw flamethrowers out and do the whole antics. In my opinion, incredibly dislikable, also very cringe. I'm not the biggest Steph Curry guy. So he's making my list.
Okay. Interesting.
James Harden, for similar reasons as Luka, more just stylistically.
Definitely.
Jordan Poole. I think a lot of people, don't enjoy Jordan Poole's antics. Also, you mentioned him in the technical foul thing. Grayson Allen, as Christopher Laud mentioned. LeBron James. James, I think, is somebody who could potentially make this list. A lot of people dislike LeBron's whining and his incessant calling for fouls and feeling like he's in the wrong or being wronged. And the last one I have here, Julius Randle. Somebody who I'm not a fan of. I don't really enjoy watching his game. And I also saw a couple of people on the YouTube chat throw Julius Randle in there as well. This is just a current list. Also, by the way, I see Jimmy Ocean's 14 threw Rick Fox in there. Yeah. Rick Fox is in there for the all-timers. But that's
all right. Thank you. And thank you.
My list.
Who was it? I apologize now. Who was it that came up with that? Dwayne Baker, that suggestion. Thank you. Here's one from Dean on the YouTube chat. Do you guys expect a big Kings presence in San Francisco?
I do. I don't know what that looks like because obviously Chase Center is just a little bit bigger than Golden One Center, but I would guess probably like 30% Kings fans. I think that you'll get a nice pop when good things happen for the Kings. At
least 20. I would think 20%.
I would just think that it's the amount of people who wanted to go to game 1, game 2, saw how expensive it was, and then just did the calculus and was like, well, I can go to Chase Center for a similar price or even a little bit cheaper even and still get to see the series. It just, you can make a weekend out of it if you want. The game 4 is on Sunday, maybe go up Friday, Saturday, make a whole weekend of it, and then go to the game on Sunday. I expect a lot of Kings fans to invade Chase Center. Definitely more than what was that Golden One for sure.
So, Chris, what happens if the Kings go into San Francisco and they win one of the 2 games? What would be the situation as they came back?
Now, I am no math major. I would like to emphasize that. But I believe that would mean that it would be a 3-1 series with game 5 returning back to Golden One Center next Wednesday with an opportunity for the Sacramento Kings to potentially seal the Warriors' fate at home.
Obviously, we know we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Just a little bit.
It's easier to say, oh, you just win 1 and 2. That's all you gotta do.
All you have to do is split.
That's a lot easier to say than it is to do. But how about that? What would the atmosphere be like? In some ways, I think there'd be more intensity than it was for game 1.
It would be crazy. It would be absolutely insane.
Clincher?
It would be absolutely insane, especially for it to be in game 5. If, again, this is getting ahead of ourselves. If the opportunity presents itself for the Kings to potentially send the defending champions, their neighbors, they're not rivals, as the coaches have made clear. These are not rivals, but to send those guys home in a game 5 at Golden One Center, I would expect it to be more raucous than what it was last Saturday. I think a game 5, an elimination game at Golden One Center, it would be huge. And I think that environment would be absolutely insane. And I'm praying to every deity out there that it happens, because Sacramento would deserve it.
One of the things, of the many things that'll make it so tough. I know last night Coach Brown talked about the Warriors are like a wounded animal, and Steve Kerr said, we're going to go home and lick our wounds. So whatever they have left, they're going to bring it full force to bear on the Kings in these next 2 games. This may be, and they probably look at it in some ways as potentially the last stand of the dynasty.
Definitely. It really feels like
quietly into the night, I don't think.
No, but this is the signs are pointing towards it. You know, that Draymond, I know, mentioned yesterday the fact that they've never been down 0-2, and it's a new challenge, and they're excited to try and conquer a new challenge because, to their credit, they have overcame every obstacle that has ever came their way, and they have made it to the top. So they feel like this will be no different. I don't know. Usually you're the last one to know that you know, it's the end.
Coming up, as we said, some adjustments to look for in game 3, and that was a Sir Mix-a-Lot game because that baby got back to the 90s. That's next. Chris and Company, Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
But here's some things maybe you didn't know about Draymond Green, Jason Ross. Okay, what you got? Draymond Green thinks Matt Barnes actually calls someone to light the beam.
Draymond Green tells everyone he meets he's vegan. Draymond Green wipes Cheeto fingers on the couch.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel vPro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Yes, we do have availability. Those dates for how many guests?
Andrea's Boutique Hotel is the destination to tie the knot.
Oh, you want the whole property?
She needs an assistant to catch the bookings bouquets.
249 guests, huh? Oh, and 3 dogs.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Keeping you company with the company. It's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
That game was very physical last night. I know Mike Brown had said after game 1, and I think Steve Kerr said basically the same thing. We want to get physical, want to be physical. It was a very physical game last night. And it wasn't the prettiest basketball, and some of that was because of nerves and poor shooting, but some of it is because they were just, those two teams were hammering on each other.
Mm-hmm. From the jump. I mean, they've set the tone really since the first tip that this is a different level of physicality. And I'm shocked, honestly, for a team that hasn't really been here, especially, again, as a collective. The Sacramento Kings don't have playoff experience. For them to understand the level of physicality, it's one thing to be like, okay, guys, we have to be physical out there. This is going to be different. It's another thing to actually I would say that they set the tone of physicality from the start. And that's absolutely not something I was expecting from a team that's really taken a lot of punches this season and hasn't delivered many back physically.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. JR joins us on Chris and Company. JR, can you believe it? The Kings are up 2-0, JR.
First time caller, long time listener.
Thanks. Welcome.
Hey, first of all, Cal Turd is a Hawks fan, Seahawks.
Oh,
so we don't take anything he says.
Yeah.
Facts.
He's a piece of work. Hey, yeah, so physicality, the stomp heard around the world. I think that's great for this friggin' series and for the challenge between these two teams in NorCal.
But they're not going to suspend. I would be stunned if the NBA suspended Green. I know that they should.
They should, though.
But they won't. I don't think they will.
Well, was it about 4 games ago, he got into an argument and he kept saying, why? And then they showed the replay, and were they playing Minnesota? It might be. He kicked the guy in the ground. It was totally obvious.
The Pelicans. New Orleans.
Pelicans.
Yeah.
And they didn't do anything. And I'm like, oh, you worthless people. Not consistency.
Yeah.
You know? And so, oh, well, it is what it is. The Kings responded. And how about Davion? Here's a guy for, if you're not on the Kings, I bet other NBA fans don't like him. Because he's the glove. He's the real glove. He's the mitten. We'll call him the mitten. Because he's all over Curry.
Thank you.
He's making him work for every freaking shot. Love you guys. And I'm going to both games in SF.
All right.
Ooh,
let us know how it goes. Thank you. Yeah, the mitten was actually some people in the Bay Area were thrown around for GP2. And I don't think he liked it. And was like, oh.
Yeah.
So they stuck with young glove. But the thing on Mitchell, I think for the most part, a lot of fans, and they'll remember him, from college, but they probably like, oh, yeah, what happened to him? He was on Sacramento. I don't see him.
Right.
So it's not like they didn't like him. It's just like he's been kind of anonymous until this series, which, as we said yesterday, is his breakout series in terms of him showing that all those things you drafted me to do, all right, I'm going to start doing them in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's really opened my eyes because I've been somebody who has been critical of Davion throughout this season because, again, his offense has just left a lot to be desired, and he is a point guard, and it's unfortunate that he's, under 6 foot or, however high he wants to list himself, because I think he could really be a really solid backup point guard. It's just this season with his offensive limitations and his size limitations, it was really tough at points this season to imagine Davion being the guy that we've seen. But it's very clear that he's just he's a guy whose game is just a lot better suited for postseason basketball. I mean, to have somebody who you can just throw out there for he played 28 minutes yesterday and just give all out defensive effort. I mean, I'm talking all NBA, all defensive team effort from the entire time he was on the floor and just in Steph Curry's grill every single second. That's the kind of thing that just doesn't translate as much in the regular season. You don't feel the impact of it as much when it's over an 82 game stretch, but in the condensed, game by game situations, Davion just makes so many winning plays and makes life so much more difficult for the opponent that it's been a really big revelation and something I'm really glad to see, because I was honestly concerned that the Kings might look at a different backup point guard next season. I think Davion has really shown his value in this series, and I've been incredibly impressed, and I'm thrilled to say that I was way wrong on Davion Mitchell and his impact.
He's defended so well, which is no surprise, but he's come through when the Kings have needed him, and the Kings have defended well last night. I mean, as I said, Charles Barkley after the game was just raving about the Kings defense, which we didn't expect. And this has been. Last night was like a 90s game. It was a grinder. It was physical. And that's the type of game that the defending champions are supposed to have an advantage in, even though they were on the road. But still, it's like playoff basketball. You kids have had a cute little season with your beam, but you have no idea what you have in store for you in the playoffs. And the Kings have not blinked, and the Warriors are the ones going, something's not right about this. What's happening to us?
Yeah, it feels a lot like the Warriors just aren't who they think they were. They feel like they had this ability to turn into some different team, and it turns out the Kings were the ones who look like a way different team. And I think it's, again, like, it's a lot easier to look like this in the first 2 games of the series when you're at home It'll be big to see how the Kings travel. Will this intensity continue when they're in Chase Center? Will the shots continue to not fall down for Golden State while they're in Chase Center? Shots usually go down a lot easier when you're in your home court. Golden State, same way the Kings fans can say that the Sacramento hasn't shot well from the perimeter. Very true. Golden State also hasn't. Steph Curry is shooting 33% from three in this series. Now, I know he's not going to shoot 50 or 45 or anything like that, but he has the ability to. You have to think that Steph will shoot better than 33% from three for this series.
One thing I think we're going to see in the next game as far as adjustments, I think we touched on this earlier. The Kings have done an excellent job of shutting down many facets of the Warrior offense, so they've had to simplify things, and they're going pick and roll a lot, that high pick and roll. I saw some numbers here from Kevin O'Connor. This year, the Warriors average, they ran a Curry pick and roll about 28 times a game. Mm-hmm. That was their average. They 40 or more, they did that 5 times. Game 1, they ran 28. Last night, 40. They went to it 40 times, which is rare for them because they're looking for something. A lot of things aren't working, and that was working for them. They're having success with it. So we can look for more of the Curry high pick and rolls because they are trying to find Sabonis because a lot of other things the Kings are shutting them off.
Yeah, and I also think a big part of that is how high Davion Mitchell is meeting him. He's meeting him right at that half court line, and so in order for Steph to have really any breathing room to do anything, they do have to send that high pick and roll just to get Steph some room to move. And then, like you mentioned, it does get the switch of Sabonis onto him, and that's the matchup they're looking for. In those
doesn't
moments.
Steph look tired? Don't the Warriors just look tired?
They look really
gassed. The Kings look like the much more athletic team.
And this is only the first round. Why do you? That's the thing. It's like even if somehow, some way, Golden State will say finds a way to win this series, I think that they're exerting way too much effort in this first round and showing way too many struggles if they realistically expect to be to the level that they were last year. Everything that I've seen, again, only through 2 road games so far this postseason, has not screamed championship team to me for Golden State.
Beam Team on the YouTube chat says, bring on the Lakers. A little early for that. Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with that. Let's do it. Let's do it. Lake Show.
They got the Grizz tonight.
Again, I'm trying to exercise all demons this postseason run. If the Kings can take care of Golden State and then also at the same time in the next series take care of the Lakers, and we can just get rid of all that bad juju that we have from the past, sign me up.
Is Steven Adams one of those guys that love him when he's on your team, hate him when he's on the other team? Or?
I can't answer that because I love Steven Adams. I love what he does. I love his game. I think he's a really simple guy.
I don't really have anything against him either, but he's one of those big lumbering, physical,
definitely the kind of dude
Aquaman-looking guys.
I could see how, maybe if the Warrior fans probably don't like Steven Adams, a guy who just brings a certain level of physicality. I could see people not liking that.
Big E points out Kings have a better record on the road than home.
They do.
Yeah.
But let's not also forget Golden State has a way better home record than road record.
Right.
They are 30
night and day.
I think they're 30-8 this season at home, and
they're 11-32 on the road.
Yeah. So I mean, we're talking about 2 completely different teams. Again, I think Golden State, Steph Curry mentioned it in game 1. I feel like there is an element of Golden State's actually, they're not thrilled with their performance, but I think that they're happy that on the road that they've been able to match the energy of this crowd and not be blown out. But also,
I know what you mean,
champions.
but you're right. Pardon me for interrupting.
No, you're good.
Some of it to me is like Draymond, and it's almost like trying to talk himself into it. Like we haven't played bad.
Yeah.
But at some point you can't just keep stumbling through a playoff series and expect you're going to win.
At some point you got to actually win the games, and you can still say you played bad and win the game. But the important thing, especially in the postseason, is you got to get the result. It's all fine and dandy that you say we could have played better. Doesn't matter if you're sitting at home.
We got the switch. We're going to flip the switch. Hey, where's the switch? We didn't bring it.
We
don't have it.
No.
Nick and Rippon says, I hate these 2 days off. I need game 3 right now. And I think
sucks.
Nick K and Rippon speaks for a lot of people right there.
Yeah. I would have rather had game 2 today and then played on Thursday as well. It's really weird how they made the schedule for this series, because
but if anything, I think worked in the Kings' favor.
Absolutely, for sure. That quick turnaround, they get to keep that momentum. Fans are still here. The Saturday, Monday, Thursday, Sunday, and then next week, if these continue, it'll be Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Just the flow of it doesn't make any sense to me, and so I completely agree with you, Nick. I'm not a fan. I need game 3 tomorrow.
coming up, something that, Chris suggested. And we mean well here, and maybe this isn't something everyone wants to get into, but it's a question, really.
It is a question.
Do we need to have a conversation about Keegan? Right? That's what you want to
That is what I want to talk about.
All right.
That is what I want to talk about.
Fine. It's a conversation.
It's okay. It's a conversation.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay.
We're just talking.
We're just talking. Just two guys talking here.
Yeah. And you, Chris and company. Whiting Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings have taken a commanding 2-0 lead over the Golden State Warriors.
They end up winning it by 8.
Can the best road team in the West go into Chase Center Thursday night and get a win in Game 3 over the defending champs? Our coverage begins with Cattles and Rami live from the Golden One Center at 2 p.m. with tip-off at 7 from San Francisco on your home for the Kings, Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports first round coverage is brought to you by National Garage Door. Doors fit for a king.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. We're looking at a partly cloudy day today for this Tuesday, with temperatures a bit cooler than yesterday. Highs will only top out in the low 60s, and those overnight lows tonight will drop off into the upper 30s to low 40s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Make your New Year's resolutions yet? Let me help. Trade out of that old car and into something safe and reliable, like a new Folsom Lake Kia with a low payment. Shop Folsom Lake Kia, family owned for over 20 years.
Hey, you want to be around people having a great time? You need to come check out Capital Casino, offering the most varieties of table games in the region in the friendliest environment. Come for the food, which is awesome, of course, and stay and play. Conveniently located in downtown Sacramento at 411 North 16th Street, right there in downtown Sacramento for over 20 years. Cap Casino, best food, best games, and of course, the best action. And please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Life is uncertain. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. It's normal. With CalHope's free and secure mental health resources, it's easy to get the help you and your loved ones need when you need it the most. Call our warm line at 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org today.
When I want to stretch out after a long day, my sofa needs to be comfortable, but it also needs to look attractive and inviting when guests come to visit. I am Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. We spend so much time on our living room sofas that we forget they're a focal point and a hint to our decorating tastes. Right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings sofa sale, you can save on every sofa, including gallery-exclusive custom-ordered flex steel furniture. Whether you're interested in a new sofa, sectional, or recliner, you can choose from hundreds of colors and fabrics. Nobody has more styles and choices than Naturewood Home Furnishings. And when it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop Naturewood for the look you love at a price you'll love even more. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable sofa sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
We could use all kinds of puns like, are you able to spring into action when the moment is right? But it's a pretty serious problem for any guy who isn't ready. When there's trouble in the bedroom, Pacific Men's Clinic can help. Go to the clinic that specializes in one thing, making your love life the best it can be by solving the problem at its source. Pacific Men's Clinic's non-invasive procedure. It's safe and pain-free. Call for your free consultation now at 916-545-7577. That's 916-545-7577.
Jiffy Lube's Country in the Park, Northern California's biggest country music festival of the year, is back May 5th and 6th at Cal Expo, starring Lady A, Chris Young, Brett Eldridge, and so many more. Plus, a Boots Boot and Line Dance Saloon, interactive lounges, and Sacramento's best food trucks. Weekend passes start at just $80. Tickets are on sale now at SactownSports.com. Country in the Park, brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort, Hanley's Western Wear, and
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-330-2929. That's 800-330-2929. 800-330-2929.
Subaru service event is on at Maida Subaru Sacramento, with the largest Subaru service facility in the Sacramento area. Factory-trained technicians, express service, and the all-new cafe now open inside Maida Subaru. Learn more at maidasubaru.com.
February 2023.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Roulade with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings now have a 2-0 lead after a 114-106 win over the Warriors last night. Kings and Warriors will have 2 days off and will be back in action in San Francisco for Game 3 on Thursday. You can listen to that game and every Kings playoff game right here on Sactown Sports. Buffalo Bills general manager Brandon Beane announced today that safety Damar Hamlin has been fully cleared to return to football. Hamlin has had a specialist with him while participating at voluntary workouts with the Bills this week. Hamlin has not played a game since he suffered a cardiac arrest against the Cincinnati Bengals on January 2nd. Grizzlies head coach Taylor Jenkins says John Morant has a soft tissue bruise in his hand that he sustained in Game 1 against the Lakers and will be a game-time decision for tonight's Game 2 against LA. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to Chris and company with Whitey and Watkins.
We may have some Draymond Green information here. I hate to say I told you so, and I can't say that yet because we don't actually know. But Chris just saw an interesting bit of information.
I did. Shams Charania of The Athletic.
Pretty well connected.
Pretty well connected guy. He was
He's
at
not
Game
Frankie
1.
or anything.
No. I actually think Frankie might be taller than Shams. I saw Shams the other day at Game 1. I swear on everything. We'll have to get Frankie in here to confirm.
So Frankie's posting up Shams and he's giving him.
Yeah, he's giving him that too little. He's like, please, come on. I had that news on Harrison Barnes last week. Shams, too little.
Nice.
But Shams put out about 6 minutes ago. It's looking unlikely Warriors forward Draymond Green will be suspended for Game 3 versus Kings after stepping on Domantas Sabonis when Sabonis grabbed his leg on Monday night. Those around the situation expect a fine for Green, but that he will be available for Game 3 given the ejection, flagrant 2, and circumstances surrounding the event of the incident with Sabonis.
There you go. Circumstances means they're going to take into account. Again, don't come after me. Don't come down my road or Chris's road. Yeah. Just means that the league looking for ways to justify this decision not to suspend Draymond Green. They'll say, well, he was grabbed. Mm-hmm. What else will they say?
He was given the ejection already.
He was, yes, and they lost the game.
Right.
Yeah, they lost the game and they missed him. Yeah.
The Warriors have been punished enough.
They have, yeah.
They've been punished enough.
So I knew they do not want this Game 3 without Draymond Green. They don't want this series to end any sooner than it has to.
Nope. It's just
they being the NBA.
Yep. You just get a lot more eyeballs and a lot more interest nationally if Draymond's in that game, and it sucks for Kings fans, but yeah, people want to see how Draymond's going to react in Game 3. Will he be composed? Will he be same energetic self? If you had to put a bet right now, do you think Draymond gets another technical foul this series?
Yes, at the end when they're fighting for their lives.
When it's all over.
Yeah.
I think that's actually a great call. I think I agree. Not specifically on that. I think Draymond might even get a tech next game. I think he's going to try and be like, I'm not phased, and I'm going to bring that energy here to Chase Center. And I could definitely see Draymond trying to pick up a tech early.
One thing I think we've learned, you don't know what's going to happen in these series, but we do know this because Mike Brown tells us the Warriors in the next game, they're going to be desperate.
It's going to get harder because they're first of all the reigning champions. They have a championship DNA that is irreplaceable with as many guys and including their staff that have won at a high level. And so every loss, in my opinion, is going to make them that much more desperate, which in turn, it's like I said it before, it's like a wounded animal. That wound is just getting bigger and bigger. And when that happens, we know and they know they're going to have to crank it up a notch and fight even harder. So, it's going to get tougher for us each game.
First round playoff coverage on Sactown Sports, by the way, brought to you by National Garage Door. National Garage Door, quality doors, quality people. I saw an animal in front of my house yesterday, by the way. Hopefully it wasn't wounded. It was very cute. It was a possum.
Oh,
little
God.
baby possum.
Well, you can never tell with those things, right? I mean, isn't that the whole bit? Isn't the
That's-
whole
yeah, I
thing? You
wonder
can't
if
tell if they're wounded.
Are the Warriors playing possum?
Are they playing
That's-
possum?
Yeah, this little thing is very cute. Where's your mama, little guy? Anyway,
I was going to say the thing about wounded animals is, I mean, yeah, sometimes people like to say, yeah, they're cunning, they're smart, they hang in the middle because they don't want to be picked out. Sometimes wounded animals just get eaten. You know, sometimes wounded animals
right,
get
like,
left
man,
behind.
dude,
and
I'm wounded. I can't.
That's the easy thing to do.
Depends how badly wounded they are.
Exactly.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. We'll find out
Yeah.
how big those wounds are. Feels like it's starting to get bigger, though, like Mike Brown said.
I suggested that we might see some Alex Len in this series. We have. I suggested that, and I know you weren't sure, but I think you were with me. Suggested that Draymond Green would not be suspended. Looks like he won't be. We don't know for sure. And I'm telling you, Sabonis is going to be in foul trouble in the next game.
Calling it here, calling your shot.
And I said the Kings in 5.
Yes, you did.
He did.
Well
We
done.
cannot forget that.
Yeah.
Chris Law did. Currently, honestly, Chris, you could still be wrong. It could be Kings and 4.
I could be.
It could be Kings and 4, y'all.
You certainly did. I'm glad you brought that up. And again, I'm not saying I hope Sabonis is in foul trouble, but I think I've seen the NBA playoffs enough to know that, okay, I think Sabonis is going to, but he gets off the team bus. He's going, you got fouls, Sabonis.
Hey.
3 fouls. We haven't even started warm-up yet.
It'll be gross. It'll be really gross. But unfortunately, you're right. Like it just is how things go. And, the Warriors found themselves in some real foul trouble with Looney and Draymond in game 2. Would not surprise me one bit if not only Sabonis, but maybe Harrison Barnes, maybe Kevin Huerter. I doubt De'Aaron Fox, but, I wouldn't be surprised if a couple different people find themselves in foul trouble.
How about Keegan Murray? What are we going to see from him? Not a lot of people so far in the YouTube chat agreeing with you, Chris.
Of course not.
Well, actually, Chris asked the question.
I
Didn't
did.
make a statement. Do we need to have a conversation about Keegan? Russell says, I don't think we need to have a convo about Keegan. He's young. What the Kings are doing is working.
Is he young?
Earl says he got thrown into the biggest stage in the world against some of the best perimeter defense in the league. Doesn't surprise me. He's struggling to get shots up. James says Keegan getting 0 looks.
It's fine. It sounds to me like a lot of Kings fans. I mean, Kings fans really have loved Keegan Murray all season long, and he's been a phenomenal. I've said it on this here station. He had the best shooting rookie season of all time in NBA history. No rookie had a better shooting season than what Keegan Murray did. The problem is when you look at Keegan's game, there's just not much else to it at this moment. He can't really stay on the floor defensively. He doesn't put the ball on the floor. He can't create his own shots. He doesn't create shots for others. And at the moment, he's not rebounding either. He's just not giving you anything. And if his thing is we're going to run him off screens and he's going to take and make open looks, that's not happening in this postseason. And so my concern with Keegan is just moving forward. Are people finding out something about him that, he's really just a shooter? And, Keegan still, with quote unquote, as I'm saying, he's only a shooter, still managed to put up really good numbers and have a really productive season this year. I'm not trying to take that away from him. I just think, especially when we look at Keegan's career moving forward and the development, he's a rookie right now. And so he's getting the benefit of starting these games because the Kings want him to be in his future. They want him to be a starter. He can't continue to play like this, especially moving forward in his career as an older rookie as well, a 22-year-old rookie. He's got to be a little bit further along than other guys, and he just has to develop a lot more of his game. And to me, that's what this playoffs is really pointing out to me, is just Keegan has a lot to do, a lot of work to do offensive, not just defensively, but offensively as well, if he wants to be the caliber of player that I think Kings fans think he can be.
One of the single biggest reasons the Kings are up 2-0 is they've defended very well. Vitally important in this series.
Right.
And Keegan Murray is someone that the Warriors are attacking.
So,
relentlessly. Okay, if that's the case, then how does he counter that? To your point, he has to make shots or you can't stay on the floor.
Right.
Plus, he seems like he's not entirely comfortable. Didn't you say, and I don't know if you want to go here, wasn't that?
Please.
Didn't we have somebody who heard Coach Brown asking?
Yes.
This is really interesting to me.
Yes, no, this is really interesting. In game 1, there's some media members that sit courtside.
You can hear the coach.
You can hear the coach. You can hear everything that's going on. You're sitting at the scores table. And there was a timeout in which Keegan Murray got beat on a backdoor cut. And as Mike Brown does, when someone makes that big of a mistake defensively, he immediately calls a timeout. Mike calls the timeout, takes about 2 steps onto the floor, looks right at Keegan, and like you said, loud enough for someone sitting in the second row of the scores table can hear, Keegan, what the F are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Point blank period. Keegan, what the F are you doing? And just calls him out. And I think, Mike's just not the kind of guy who's going to stand for this stuff. As you can tell by Keegan's minutes, I mean, in game 1, he only played 15 minutes. Game 2, he plays 16 minutes. He's not going to have a long leash here, especially like you're mentioning defensively. The Warriors are attacking him. And there's clearly, to me, when I watch Keegan Murray out there, he just doesn't have, especially with how intense the defense is right now being played, he's not matching that level of intensity. And we know Keegan's a little bit more of a shy guy. I don't want to, raise too many concerns because, again, he is a young guy. This is his first experience. I don't know if he has the capability of reaching that kind of intensity level. It feels like he's out there and he's expecting it to be like regular season ball. And, even then in the regular season, Keegan struggled with physicality. I just think the physical nature of this series is just too much for Keegan Murray right now. And I don't know what that says as a guy, again, who's an older rookie here. We're not talking about an 18, 19-year-old kid. We're talking about a guy who should be later in his development and just doesn't seem to have a couple tools that are required to play postseason basketball. I don't know if you're seeing any of the same stuff.
Both things can be true. We all know the Kings love Keegan Murray, and they're very excited about his future. Very excited. They love the fact that he's had such a big year. But right now, that's neither here nor there. They need production.
Right.
And like if he's on Wiggins, that's a mismatch.
Yeah.
So they just can't afford to play him. This isn't part of your development right now, Keegan.
Yeah.
We need to win.
100%.
If you're making shots, helping us, great. But right now it looks like it's going a little too fast for you. That happens sometimes with rookies. Well, okay, then you're going to watch.
Right. And the Kings have other options too. That's the thing. They're not in a situation where, hey, Keegan, we really need you. The Kings have plenty of different options they can go to. They can run small with Davion Mitchell.
Playing.
They can go Malik Monk. They can, honestly, if I don't think it'll get to this point, but if the Kings really feel it necessary, they can put Trey Lyles in that starting lineup, move Harrison down to the 3, and just not, play Keegan when they feel like they need to for shooting.
That's what I told you. That was my favorite lineup last night. Len and Lyles and Herter at the 3 with Monk and Fox. Awesome. Coming up, crosstalk with Rami.
Let's do it.
And Christopher Lodd's story times coming up on Chris and Company, Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ram truck owners have heart for being fearless, determined, and bold. That's why it's time for you to be a Ram. Make the move to a 2023 Ram 1500 with optional features that take your ride to the next level, like an available multi-function tailgate and the available Ram Box Cargo Management System for versatile exterior storage, plus a premium audio system that turns every trip into an amazing music experience. Ram trucks, built to serve. See more of what Ram has to offer at ram.com.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No. We tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Growing a business brings pressure. It's not easy to maintain momentum and still keep employees engaged. Fortunately, there is Insperity. Their scalable HR solutions help me with hiring, training, HR administration, and compliance while giving my employees competitive benefit options. When my people are able to thrive, my business can adapt and prosper. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
Great team, great team. Where's the defense? Defense! Okay, everyone take a break. Greetings, Sacramento. Doug Christie here for the Good Feet store, asking, when is something too good to be true? When it probably is. And had I not experienced it for myself, this spectacular season would definitely qualify as too good to be true. So everyone out there in radio land, continue to enjoy. Something else that could seem too good to be true is Good Feet arch supports. But trust me, I've experienced firsthand the comfort, balance, and support possible with Good Feet arch supports. And so have countless others who have pretty much given up hope. It's time you felt good again. Take your feet to the Good Feet store for free personalized arch support, fitting, and test walk. Experience for yourself the comfort, balance, and support missing in your life. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and now Vacaville, online at goodfeet.com.
Truck season savings extended at Maida Chevy in the Elk Grove Auto Mall. Got a huge selection of new 2022 and 23 half-ton Silverados in stock, ready to go. Find your savings at MaidaChevy.com. Find new roads. Live and local, it's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
He's Chris Watkins, Kevin Michael Whitey Gleason, welcoming in a guy who was out there last night broadcasting from the Doco. How are you, Rami?
I'm good. How are you? That was a scene out there yesterday.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, there was a guy dressed as a king, like as an actual, like, full
There are a bunch of
king
people dressed like kings.
No, but I mean, this guy was in like full, like legitimate
with a robe and everything.
King.
How much money do you think he spent on it?
I don't know. I think
like it was that official.
I think he must work in theater or something and borrowed this from the costume department. This thing was legit. Like the crown was metal, like the whole thing. There was another guy who was dressed as the Beam.
The Beam, I saw that.
There was a human Beam.
That's a good one.
Yeah, like he was the
he was one of those car,
thingies.
like a car salesman inflatable thing.
Yeah, it was excellent.
That was
the Beam
amazing.
was great.
That was amazing.
The gentleman who was wearing that royal fit, his wife made that for him.
Oh, really?
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Handmade. It was beautiful.
Handmade. That's love right there.
So the queen made that.
That's love. The queen made that with her own hands, with her own royal hands.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Yeah, that was fun out there. I mean, I'm not gonna like in the arena and during the game, clang your cowbells, and even outside. Like, who am I? You're not gonna stop because of me. But oh my god, dude, I could not hear myself think. me and my girlfriend had plans to like go out to an establishment and watch the game. And we did, and at the end of the first half, I was like, I gotta go home. I was like, I can't be out around people cheering for the Kings anymore. It was like a whole day of, and like they were doing nothing wrong. It was just like I only have so much capacity for it. You know what I mean?
Your ears can only ring for so long.
My brain was just rattled by the end of the day yesterday, man. But it was, I mean, for a good reason. For a good reason, it was a lot of fun.
You should have seen, and maybe you did see, when back in the day where like Phil Jackson's in a huddle and fans are just
in his ear. I saw a video on Twitter yesterday of somebody did that to Bob. They're sitting right behind
Bob Martin. He sent it to Nick and myself.
God.
Yeah, that was a Sactown sports listener.
Awesome. Well, shout out that guy who's doing the Lord's work.
I have the tweet. He tweeted us. He was like, I don't think Bob Myers is too happy with it.
He was in his ear, like ringing that thing like crazy. And Bob Myers is just standing there with his back to him, just acting like he can't hear him. But this guy is giving his all into shaking that cowbell.
Let me see if I can find the tweet when he sent it to us. We can shout him out by name.
Yeah, that is some classic Kings fandom right there.
And you should. You should, like I said.
Ring it. Make it that's the advantage. You know, the cowbell, nobody enjoys hearing it, but it's part of, you know, you're numb to it as a Kings
fan. Make them uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Make them uncomfortable in there.
Rami, what do you think the odds are that the NBA actually suspends Draymond Green? We've been saying all morning, not going to do it.
Yeah.
Shams just tweeted a short time ago, it doesn't appear that the NBA will do it. It appears unlikely.
I don't think they will.
I
don't think they will.
Would you want them to? Isn't there something said for beating the champs at full strength and all that?
Yeah, no, I don't think it was necessarily. I mean, he definitely crossed a line. You know what I mean? He crossed a line with that move yesterday, but I don't know if it was suspension worthy. If they did, I'd understand, but I don't think they will because Draymond can show him the footage and the picture and he grabbed onto his Domas did grab onto his ankle. That doesn't justify or warrant the reaction, but and so the NBA, I think, would consider that in whether or not they'd suspend him. I don't think they will.
Yeah, the NBA doesn't want this series ending any sooner than it has to.
No, there's that too. Yeah, there's that as well.
You know what else the NBA loves?
What's that?
Story time.
We interrupt this program for an important announcement.
It's that time of the day where Chris Verlaud gives you the stories that you need to hear. Or maybe not. Story time.
Gentlemen, good to talk to you.
Always good, Verlaud.
All right, let's go to Philadelphia. This is courtesy of PhiladelphiaMag.com. Have you guys used Airbnb before?
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, for sure.
Super simple.
Have you guys ever rented out your house or property for Airbnb?
Thought about it. I thought about it, but no.
You did think about it.
Seems like a task.
Yeah, because I still have a property back in Milwaukee.
This might make you think about it.
Okay.
This happened on July 13th, 2020. Forrester rented out the Airbnb to Lawrence Jackson for one night.
Okay.
Everything all good.
Sure. Okay. Yep. Typical Airbnb stay.
Yeah.
Next day, Lawrence was still there, and he had changed all the locks on the house.
Oh my God.
Changed all the locks, he also refused to allow Forrester into the home. Forrester also claimed that Jackson invited others to live in the house with him. Not only that, he charged those people rent to live at the house. The neighbors complained about the noise and trash. Even one of the occupants at the house broke their legs and had to be carried out in a stretcher when they were trying to climb through a second floor rear window.
So he was he had a frat house, essentially.
Eventually, on September 9th, 2020, so about 2 months later, after attempting to serve Jackson, the sheriff's department was able to remove the people in the house.
Wow.
Forrester said the ejectment process cost him $4,500 and the repairs to the house cost him $75,000.
Wow.
And he wasn't able to complete the repairs until 2021. So over a year it took him to repair this house that was trashed.
And Chris, how long was the guy in there with his
2 months?
2 months. And they caused a year's worth of damage in 2 months.
So now he's suing Airbnb for breach of contract, searching for $170,000.
What did Airbnb do? How would they know this guy's going to change the locks?
Because this is what happened. Airbnb did absolutely nothing throughout this entire process. They didn't answer phone calls. They didn't answer emails. They did not do anything
useless.
to help
I don't know if
them.
you've ever had an issue with an Airbnb. They are completely useless if there's even the most minor of issues.
No.
I use it. You know what I mean? It can be convenient and all that, but if you have the most minor of issues, they're the most worthless customer service in the history of customer service.
Yeah. Airbnb back later.
All right. How about
see what you did there?
Quickly, let's do Danbury, Connecticut.
Yeah.
This is courtesy of NBC Connecticut.
Love Danbury.
This man isn't technically a dentist.
No.
But he did stay at a La Quinta.
Okay.
On Sunday in Danbury, officers responded to a La Quinta where reports came from people saying a man was practicing dental work in a hotel room.
That's why they call it practice.
They spoke with a man who said he was conducting dental referrals. When they went into the man's room, they found dental drills, suction machines, a portable x-ray machine, and bottles of amoxicillin.
All the stuff a real dentist has.
And other medications.
He's well equipped.
Also, while the police were talking with the suspect, a man who had gauze in his mouth came out of the bathroom and said he just had a dental procedure.
My thing is, who are these people who are driving up to the La Quinta Inn and being like,
oh,
this is not a dentist office. This is clearly not anywhere that I have ever received dental work. Has never been in a motel.
That makes 0 sense.
Why would you walk in?
Because the price.
So many
you couldn't
questions.
beat the price.
The suspect has been charged with practicing dentistry without a license and illegal sale of prescription drugs. He's being held on a $350,000 bond.
Wow.
I don't even know what like proper punishment for that would be. I guess fining is fine, but
probably a little more.
Was it good dental work? I mean, if
that's
you're
a great
providing
question.
a good service,
That's a great question. Right. It could be like
good dental work is hard to come
It's like
by,
a
man.
barber who's not officially a barber. You know, you're still cutting hair, and like, as long as you're like the haircut looks fine,
Is he
right?
trying? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Is he
exactly.
trying?
He knows the principles of what he's doing.
I think that matters.
I read a story once years and years, obviously, long time ago. Ty Cobb, you know Ty Cobb?
Yeah.
Ty Cobb needed some his tonsils removed. A teammate goes, yeah, I know a guy. And so they went to this hotel one day and they're doing all this stuff. It's like, yeah, you got to come back tomorrow. So he goes back the next day to have all this work done. He finds out later that guy wasn't really a doctor. He was just
not on a professional athlete. That's not
I
great.
guess they got the tonsils out, but who knows what else they took out.
That's amazing.
Yeah. What do we got coming up on Kettles and Rum?
Brian Windhorst will be joining us at
Ooh.
2:30, and obviously we'll
Now-
be talking a lot of Kings.
Why
and
would,
Warriors.
why
Yes,
would
sir.
he do that? Why would Brian Windhorst hop on that program?
And
Makes you
obviously,
think.
almost, wall to wall, Kings, Warriors.
Yes.
They're up 2-0. Draymond is stepping on people. Like there's a lot to talk about here this afternoon. So join us, won't you?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Kettles and Rummy next on Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings have taken a commanding 2-0 lead over the